Wait a minute. Wait, you sly devil, you tricked me. I was all ready with a figure, ready to go. What's going on here, man? What are you doing?
Uh,
So,
just in
welcome.
time.
Yes, yes,
Coming in
just
hot.
in time. Welcome into a Tuesday night evening blend. I was under the assumption, roll tide roll. Thank you, Woody Triple Deuce, for the Alabama figure. Um, so I was under the assumption that you were going to be running a little behind. So I went ahead and busted out my Alabama quarterback
Nice.
action figure and had him ready to go to keep up the tradition on the intro. But obviously, I didn't need it. You showed up at the 11th hour, or as we will say, at the 10th second. Literally, as the credits are going, right? Or as the intro is going, you're like, I hear bloop, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. And there he is. Well, what's going on, man? I didn't know exactly what I would be. I mean, I have some stuff to get into off the top, and I have a great picture from The Last of Us season 2 to show here in
Oh
just a
boy.
second to everybody. It's a face only a mother could love, and I'm going to show it to you guys here momentarily. And boy, oh boy, you're probably going to agree with me. But anyway, so yeah, what's going on, man? You had told me a couple days ago you might be running behind, but obviously you are here, ready to roll. So
Yeah.
what's shaking?
Hey, it's been a crazy little bit of time. My uh, sister and brother-in-law came into town, and uh, they said they were just coming in on Sunday. They were leaving on Monday morning, and then they decided they were going to stay a couple extra days. So,
Nice.
and then we just finished up dinner and playing some games and washing the cars and just hanging out.
Washing the cars. So let's see here. Let's get a little bit of this. We'll get a little bit of sci-fi right now. Like we're going into V'ger or something. That's a deep cut for those that know and those that
So
don't know.
it's funny you say that because Red Letter Media did a
Yes.
review of Star
Yes.
Trek: The Motion Picture recently, and they went through a series of them and talked about the different versions of the motion picture.
The special edition or the director's cut, the special long
Yeah.
edition, and all that stuff. Depending on what age group you're in or where you
Yep.
fall into, or the theatrical cut and all that kind of stuff. And I will say this just off the top: if none of you have heard of or watch any Red Letter Media videos on YouTube, you do yourself a treat. Go back, uh, gosh, a few years and watch their Mr. Plinkett,
Yeah.
on the Star Wars stuff, or watch them making fun of Collider and their streams, live streams, podcasts, whatever. Red Letter Media. It's some of the most hilarious stuff that I've had the pleasure of watching the last several
They've
years.
done some good stuff over the years. They've gotten a little full of themselves a couple of times, but for the
A little
most
bit.
part, they're pretty darn good. Worth paying
Yeah.
attention to.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Whether you agree with them or not, they entertain. They tend to entertain. Some of them are a little bit more cynical than others.
Yeah, but the personalities, those guys, they've obviously done their homework. They're
Yeah.
all film buffs. They
Yep.
they probably went to school for, film and stuff. I mean, they know all about composition and shots and, direction. I mean, there's a lot of things, and they'll talk about a lot of stuff that you may not know, but they'll somewhat explain it to you a little bit and give you examples. But yeah, Red Letter Media, awesome. Those guys are hilarious. And yeah, I kind of took that actually from them
Yep.
when I mentioned V'ger because I watched that video yesterday. And so, but anyway, alas, here we are, and you are here as well. And that's great. So might as well kind of jump into the chat a little bit, and we've got a few topics to talk about, and whatever else we want to. Triple D's dungeon. It may stay at Triple D's dungeon. He may decide to change it. We don't know. But I hope he's settled on something he's happy with, and I love it actually. So but Triple D's in the house. There he is. it's not Conan, right? It's not technically Conan.
Not technically Conan.
You're sitting there like turning your nose up at me. You're like, you're so ignorant. You're so stupid. I'm like, I'm sorry. Do you guys know classified? Dude. That's it. That's all I know. Um, Joe Fan 84 is in the house. And says I've got some parts to complete on my O-ring airborne. All right. That's nice. Hell yeah. Give you something to do while you listen to us jokers mess around for a little while. Garaf is in the house. What's going on, my friend? 3-star draw says, who washes cars anymore? You know, I
People
do
with nice
about
cars.
twice a year. I wash my car like twice a year. It's awful. I feel bad sometimes when I go to pick my son up in the car line. And and it's funny because he's 17, but like so many kids these days, they don't drive. They're not in a hurry to drive,
Yeah.
like we used to be.
Yep.
And what's so funny is he doesn't care. And I mean he doesn't care. But I'll show up in the car line to grab him after school and he's hanging and I'm like, oh my God, picking him up, this car's dirty. And he doesn't care. Like he really doesn't care. And honestly, when it's all said and done, that's all I really care about. I'm
Right.
not kidding. It really is. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. Yes. Nice to spend time with family, but it can be also annoying. That's true, and but I think that's the case because you're not around people all the time. And
Mhm.
what, things I think people could easily maybe find annoying at the same time, it's what it is really it's just different. It's just different because
Yeah.
you're not around, your family all the time. And when you do spend time with them, if it's extended period of time, it's kind of unusual for most of us. We don't usually have that.
Yeah.
Rachel Salinas is here. Conan the Librarian.
That's a thing too.
You know what? I'd love to see a Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan the Librarian.
Well, he was a kindergarten teacher.
Oh, part of that book. I can't even do it. Oh, don't put. Yeah, I see. Look, that's terrible. I'm not even going to try.
He
So
was a
you could,
kindergarten teacher. He taught the
yes.
children.
You could put is that book late? Oh no. Yeah, 3-star. That's what rain is for. Yeah, washing my car, my friend. Ronnie Trick Shot in his house.
What's up?
So far so good. So obviously, like we say every week, there's plenty of streams. I know you were probably a little busy earlier, but we had all the baldies. I like to call them the baldies on stream today. Going over obviously the pre-orders, which we can go over
And
moment
apparently they
just
had
for a
the same
moment.
troll that was trolling Punk on Monday.
Oh, yeah, maybe saw a little bit about that. Maybe some of y'all were in that chat. Saw a little bit about that and kind of. Was that the troll that's like, oh, it's sold out and you can't get it, and it's like, well, all you got to do is just look around and you'll find it. Was that the same one or
Well,
was
he,
it
he was
a
the one
different
that
one?
was going off about Hasbro being a multi-billion-dollar company, and this is ridiculous, and he's trying to tell everybody what tariffs are and how much it costs to make an action figure,
Oh,
and he's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
totally
yeah.
wrong.
Okay, okay,
And
yeah,
he
got it.
wouldn't leave the comments alone. Like he kept commenting after comments after comments
Okay,
after the video, like on the video, not necessarily in the chat, but he was in the chat, and then he was kind of trying to antagonize the stream today too. And Punk wasn't having any of it. Baldy wasn't having any of it. It's just like, come on, man, just get a life.
well, and also too, the chat will self-regulate.
Oh yeah, for
Right. A
sure.
lot of times you can rely on your chat. And I looked, they had about 75 to 80 people watching a day. Great, great number. It's a good
Yep.
stream. They have fun. You can tell they're kicking around stuff and just having a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yes, something Cobra Commander or
Uh-huh.
something. Yeah. And because I saw that last night
Yep.
saying he was a friend of Ken from Toy Connections. He was going to call him on the phone. And then all of a sudden, Ken pops up or Yeah, what it was
Well,
maybe.
apparently he had a long conversation with Ken last night after the stream, and
Okay.
Ed was kind of privy to some of that. And man, this guy's the next level, right? I mean, just let it go, just move along.
I
You're not going
think
to make any headway. You're not going to be considered right because you're not.
I think that and yeah, he did vanish when Ken showed up. I think it's just being able to read the room.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crucial skill that some
Yeah.
people don't have. I think most of us do. And being able to read the room and just kind of understand that, hey, that comment didn't fly. We didn't get
Yeah.
any laughs. It didn't, nobody's really taken to what I'm saying. That can be in just normal life, right? In just in person action and just being able to read the room and understand, hey, you know what? Maybe I just need to kind of pull back and not assert my knowledge on everybody. That's one thing that I'm not okay. Some of you guys watching, you may go, well, hey, wait a minute. Um, I'm not a big fan necessarily of someone asserting their knowledge and not being able to uh, take other points of view into consideration, especially if in the chat, for instance, someone kind of calls you out. You may be very single-minded, single one-track mind on a point, and you may be wanting to express that point, but you're so focused on it that you disregard any other
Yeah.
possible outcome or whatever. And then when somebody kind of comments on it, it kind of puts you in check sometimes. And
It
and it's like,
should.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And I need to look into that, or maybe I need to research that a little more. Maybe I
Yep.
spoke too quick, right? And I think we've all been guilty of that. I know I have.
Yep.
But I'm never a fan of somebody who's just like, hey, I'm going to brute force my
Mm-hmm.
opinion on you, and it is what it is, and you have to take it, right? Just never been a big fan of that, and and
Yeah.
and so yeah, you see that sometimes. Viper Scout's in the house. What's up, Viper Scout? I did see Bobby Wool sliding in here saying I
What's
showed up
up?
late. What was the room saying that needed to read it, or that they needed to read it? Um, I don't remember exactly, but for the most part, I think it was just everybody kind of, you get somebody who comes in and they're either a topper or they know it all.
Yeah.
And eventually everybody just starts going, okay, like that's cool, man, just chill out,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And then when people don't chill out, then it becomes a problem, right?
Mm.
And that could be with anything. I mean, it just is. But I did want to show you guys a face that only a mother could love, ladies and gentlemen. Ellie from Last of Us. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I mean, listen, here's the deal. All right. I'll take that off. I don't want to scare anybody. Okay. It's not Halloween. So here here's the deal. I want to talk about this just off the top. I watched The Last of Us season 1. I played the video games. Um, and I will say that when it comes to casting choices, it's so important.
mm-hmm.
It's so important. So this season 2, picks up 5 years after the first season. Now, it may have taken a couple years to make this show, but when you're choosing your casting, you have to take into consideration, what that's going to look like as you progress.
Right.
Now, sometimes through makeup and CGI, they're able to age people or whatever. But it's also very difficult as the viewer to believe um, someone who still looks as if they're 11 or 12 years old to then be a 19-year-old person who has the ability to basically use a Marvel-esque leg choke move on a guy that's 3 times her size and get him to tap out. You know, um, I'm not saying we haven't seen it in other media, we haven't seen it in Marvel stuff, but um, having played the games, having watched the original, the first season, it's really difficult. They make it really difficult. And so I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. If you haven't played the games, I don't want to spoil anything, but I do have a couple articles brought up here in a little bit to go over and through that. but casting is so important, right? Like this is a lot of money. It's a
Yeah.
lot of money people are spending.
Well, so the theory is that they're gonna put off that event until the end of the season, or they're gonna have to do
Yeah,
it and then do everything else in flashback because you're not gonna pay for the actor and then not utilize the
not
actor.
you. Yes, not utilize that person for much
Mm-hmm.
of the show, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
just not going to happen. Giraffe. Oh, Xi Jinping is your friend. Like, remember when Dennis Rodman was going down to the North Korea? You remember that like about 10 years ago, and he was
Remember when
hanging
John
out
Cena apologized in
to,
Chinese to the
to China about calling Taiwan a country.
yeah.
He said he told me tariffs are not as ugly as the derpy baby that plays Ellie in The Last of Us. Oh, giraffe.
Chat's on
Oh,
fire.
that's beautiful. Bobby Wold, and somehow has a better face than Lieutenant Falcon. Ouch. You mean Mrs. Doubtfire? Come on now. You must be joking. Um, yeah, 3 star. Take your time. You'll be good. I know the last episode of Daredevil, this Born Again season 1, or season 4, I guess, uh, finished
Season
up
one,
today.
it's a different show. They're different characters. They're
Yes,
not even the
right.
same characters.
I agree. I agree 100%. And maybe
Yeah. So
next
I
week
mean, not
we can do a little bit of a review
yeah,
of
not
totality.
spoiling anything, but we finished the 3 seasons of Netflix Daredevil and Defenders, and then we started watching with my wife. Started watching Born Again, and she's only seen the first 2 episodes, and she's basically saying, "Who's this guy Vincent D'Onofrio is playing?" Because this guy's been emasculated. What's going on here? He's not Kingpin.
That's pretty much in a nutshell that
Yeah.
character. Yes, absolutely. I really would next week like to kind of go into a totality of it.
Yep.
We don't have to obviously spend whole show on it,
Yeah.
but I do think it's worth discussing because there really is a lot in there that I still talk to people at work who are like, man, we're really, really liking it, and man, those action scenes are awesome. And I'm like, how many? Like,
Yeah.
there's not much there, but I do think that it is a case study on how switching hands, from Netflix to Disney, even with some of the same people, like the showrunner from The Punisher, and you could still have a series that's very uneven and
Yeah.
has a lot of issues.
Three
Um,
star. I don't really agree with him from the Netflix series because they kind of built him up, and I mean, it was like the second episode he cut a dude's head off with a car door. I don't see that being emasculating. Yeah, they talked
no,
about
he's
his
talking
family
about
trauma and stuff,
from the
but
beginning of this, from
no,
Born
he
Again.
he corrected himself. He said from the beginning on Netflix.
Oh, maybe I would say from. I know in the Netflix series he, you know, kind of disappeared for season 2, comes back for season 3, and
Yep.
is able to get the FBI on his side and all that kind of stuff. It really starts with this
Yeah. Well,
particular
yeah. I mean,
series.
his whole Disney Plus career, he's definitely been emasculated. No, uh, yeah. So he's clarifying. Is what I thought he meant. He said even in the Netflix series, and I never saw it that way.
Mm, I definitely didn't
And I mean, it
in
was
that
so much more
series.
apparent in this one because he was intimidating. He was in your face. He killed people with freaking car doors. I mean, he was murdering people.
Well, and that was just in like the first episode or two, but
Yeah,
on top of that, like he got the Punisher to do his dirty work. He
yeah,
tricked the FBI into providing him back into his home. He turned
yep,
his home from a prison into all the luxury that he had before. He tricks the FBI into doing everything for him. He gets Bullseye,
yeah.
Dexter, to do all his other work for him and tricks him, and he feeds into his insecurities, right?
I
And
I
and
don't
so
see
yeah,
how
that
that's emasculating in any fashion. Yeah, he loves this woman, but at the same time, he did what he did, and
yeah,
and
he
and
he
he stood
wanted
up
to,
for it.
keep her safe and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
in this new evolution,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely is that. That's for sure.
Oh
It
yeah, yeah.
is
He's lost
it
all
is a
power, all credibility.
constant, like, yes,
He's
constant.
nothing in this one. New one.
Yeah. Menjoza, what's up, bud? In the house. Good to see you, my friend. Perhaps as much as I dislike how obviously it is that the U.S. runs on foreign slave labor, and low regulated factories, at least China protects its people from Hollywood movies. That's true because they are pretty much saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to show the movies here. You know what I mean? Duncan, or Michael Clark Duncan, as Kingpin in the Ben Affleck, though, I thought that was fine. I
I
know
thought
that,
he was pretty good.
did people back then make a big deal about him being portrayed, by a black man? Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm sure you heard people say, well, that's not the Kingpin. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, I don't think that fervor would have been like today in
Yeah.
today's world. And also, I don't think the media back then would have played it up the way they would today.
Yeah.
Right, like the Harry Potter casting and stuff like that.
Woo!
That's and
The memes will be fantastic.
Lunchbox Killer 805 in the house. What's going on, my friend? Yeah. So we'll kind of do a Daredevil retrospective next week, and go through it. If you guys haven't seen it, I still say give it a watch if you've got the time. But I would say that if you're a fan of the Netflix series, you probably are going to be at times yelling at your TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think you will, or your computer or your phone. You're going to be saying, I just don't know, like what it doesn't feel
Yep.
right. And when you see something and you hear something and you know it's not right, it sticks with you. And this series definitely is that kind of thing, I think. So let's jump into it, man. Let me go over here and get this little tab
I didn't get a chance to
ready.
send it to you. Did you hear what Chris Columbus said?
Yes, I saw that Chris Columbus, the famous actor, of Home Alone and many other films that we
Director.
all love. Yeah, director, of Home Alone and many other films that we love. He did say that, he is ashamed, basically, and of the Trump scene from Home Alone, in two, right, where he goes to New
Yep.
York,
Yep.
and that he's scared to edit Trump out of the film because he's scared he'll get deported to Italy, right?
I don't know. I
Which,
mean, it's just a dumb comment. Doesn't make any logical sense. But
I saw that. No matter what you feel about, Trump and what's going on, I think it's a little hyperbolic to,
yeah,
and
just a little.
remind me, Matthew. And 3 Star says valid. I disagree. Remind me, Matthew, remember all those years when Hollywood absolutely loved Donald Trump? Do you remember when he had a
Yep.
TV show and he was going on every late night talk show and Jimmy Fallon was rubbing his hair and
And
everybody was
the
at it and
ACLU was giving him awards.
right. They loved him. They just loved him, right? They absolutely loved him. Put him in cartoons in The Simpsons, right? I mean, and yet when he gets into politics and all that changes.
Yep.
It's quite interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's enough of that. I just found it interesting. Would Chris Columbus get deported back to Italy? I doubt it if
Nope.
he decided to edit. But also,
Not unless
remember,
he's here illegally.
folks, that's why you keep physical media.
Yeah.
Because with physical media, you can't change it. You can't edit it out without you knowing it. Rachel, exactly, right? That scene is so inconsequential, 100%. It's totally inconsequential. So it doesn't even bear bringing up.
Right.
Doesn't even bear talking about, right? Especially in that context. And Joe Fan says, yeah, they loved him until they realized he couldn't be bought. That's what happens with a lot of folks.
Yep.
Sports, entertainment, politics, right? Can't be bought. People have a problem with you. So these all went up today, right? Did you get your pre-orders? I know a lot of y'all did. I know that I did. I'm a sucker, right? Just like anybody else. Yeah, I ordered all of them. Did you get your pre-order, Matthew? Did you order in these guys, or did you wait? Did you say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get them somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, if I get a chance to pick them up in the store, I'll pick them up in the store. None of these are floating my boat too much. I don't need. Well, Monkey Wrench is the only one that I really want. So,
Yeah, I feel that
but
from,
I think he'll be in the stores, so I'm not
right.
too worried.
Now, what I find curious on this page, because I went straight to Pulse, what I find curious is they have the Claw, they have Major Blood, they have Cobra Commander, Battle Armor, and they have Monkey Wrench. Who's missing?
No, no, Monkey Wrench is sold out on
No, no,
Pulse.
well, no, I know that. What I'm
Oh,
saying is just what they're showing.
yeah.
So who's missing out of these four? Because it was five pre-orders that went up today.
Well, so on mine it shows Snake Eyes.
On mine, it doesn't.
Well, are you sure you refreshed it at the front of the page?
Well, I
Go
went.
to the main page.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
this is the reason I'm bringing this up
Yeah.
because this is how confusing and shitty their app is and their website because the app is quite useless.
Yeah.
But even on the website, if you go home, GI Joe Classified, right?
Yeah.
So you go by brand and you bring up brand. Now, I will tell y'all, when I pre-ordered today, I went by brand. I
Mm.
went by brand because, and I went on Chrome on the browser at work and I ordered them on my phone and Snake Eyes was under the brand tab, all five of them.
Yeah.
And so I find it weird that I go to the same thing online on my computer and I'm only getting four of these. It's so
Well,
strange.
I don't know what the glitch is because when I logged onto the website, the first five things were those five things, and Snake Eyes was number one. He was the first image when I pulled up the website.
I agree. So look,
So I didn't even have to go to brand or anything.
So look at this. Look, collect them all.
Yeah.
Right? There's Snake Eyes, version 4. Click on collect them all. And what shows up?
Yeah. So
Not
mine
Snake
was totally
Eyes.
different. So yeah. As soon as I pulled it up, just the homepage. The homepage had him on it.
Yeah, no, right. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 Star says, look, he doesn't show on mine either. I typed it in. And he says you have to search Snake Eyes for some reason. So yeah, like that is so weird. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna type in Snake Eyes, and I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. The only reason I wanted to highlight it is because I noticed this when I do search it. Yep, there he is, right? Pre-order, but I find that it's such a shit show
Yeah.
of trying to navigate this when it shouldn't be. It's look, hey, I know the pre-orders are coming up. Collect them all. Heck yeah, I'm on my computer. Boom, 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 boom. And then you think, oh, and then wait a minute. And then let's just say you're in the position of, oh crap, wait a minute, let me go back. And it's sold out on here. Now, I know you can get it elsewhere, right? I'm not going to say this is the only place. I just thought it's such a mess. It's just such a mess, right? I how this continues to happen, dude. I don't know. Turk Murphy Solutions, Toy Solutions in the house. What's up, Turk? Yeah,
So
I don't know. I don't know how this continues to be an issue for them.
yeah, Pulse is still better than Walmart. I don't know. As long as I don't call Walmart and say, hey, what's up with my order? I think my order is going to stand. I don't know. I don't know that for fact, but everybody I know who's called or contacted them about their crystal ball, they got their order axed.
Well, I damn sure ain't ordering it from Walmart. I can tell you that.
Well, where are you going to get them from? You got it from Pulse, so you're okay.
Yeah, I always do. But what 3 Star said is, I did. That's how I've pre-ordered the last few. I went to brand, I went to GI Joe, I went to classified series, and then I refreshed on my phone because I was at work the last few pre-orders, and that's how I did it. And he did show up for me. But here, it's so
I don't know.
strange, dude. Oh my God.
Personally, for me, my customized Alpha Commando Snake Eyes into version 4 is better than what they did. So I don't need to get this one.
Yeah, no, and I get it. And again, when it comes down to it, hey man, it's what do you really, really want?
Yeah.
If you
What do you
got
want?
major,
What do you really, really want?
yeah, You really want to zig. Ah. So if you're happy with the Major Blood from the Cobra Island, and
That's a
you
great
really don't
figure.
need to have this, which it is a great figure. This one has enough changes that I can see people saying, "Hey, I gotta have this." But Battle Armor Cobra Commander, the Claw, Monkey Wrench, those I think definitely are ones that people are like, "Yeah,
So
I
for
need to
me,
have
that's
those."
not Battle Armor Cobra Commander. That's Fred 7.
Well, and I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. I mean, it's no matter how you look at it,
Yeah.
it's what are you getting? You're not getting a Fred head. You're getting a battle armor Cobra Commander head.
Yeah.
So if you want to go that way, you can. If you want to go the other way, you can too. I'm totally wide open for that. Nothing
Yeah.
for me is that crucial where I have to say no. You can't. It's your head canon, right? It's your so I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You make of it what you want. You get you a Marvel Legends head or whatever other Valaverse head, and you put it on there and say, "Hey, this is Fred." I'm cool with that. If that's what you want to do, but you'll always know technically it's not a Fred head
Yeah.
from Hasbro, and it will eat you alive for the rest of your dying days.
Well, 3-star, there are 2 heads that come with this one. One has snake eyes, one does not. So, you've got the normal one in there, and that could certainly be Fred 7.
Yes, yes. He never did have snake pupils. I'm with you there, Graph. Yeah, the claw had an option for without the figure. I get it. I totally get that, definitely. But any way they can add in an army build and even a female army
What are
build,
you guys all just
yeah.
sexist or what? You don't like the female troopers? What's going on here? I mean,
Hey,
they're dolls,
hey,
man.
let's slow your
They're
roll there,
dolls.
buddy. I love women. I might like them a little too much. Some may say. Is
I
that
just want them to
sexist
fix their
also?
torsos and joints that they got there so they can
I,
actually flex.
I don't know. I do like that Cammy figure though. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie. That
the
Cammy figure.
Cammy's awesome.
Yeah, for all the right
Yeah,
reasons.
well, yeah.
Okay, let's get on. Let's
She's
get
pretty good
on.
too.
Let's get on to a little bit of news here, shall we? We do have a little bit of news, and as always, we do like to go through the numbers and just kind of see what are we looking like box office. All right.
Are there still movies
Obviously,
playing in the theaters? I mean, what?
man, I'm gonna tell you something. There are movies playing in the movie theaters. I was at a large mall here in town, and it was around 2-ish in the afternoon, and there were people in line for snacks and such. My son and I had a great day Sunday walking around the mall. And one of those events included walking up to the lady taking tickets or scanning your phone. And I said, "Hey, we have a wacky idea. We just want some popcorn. We don't want to see a movie. We just want some popcorn and we want a couple sodas. Can we just come in and buy it and then go back out in the mall and walk around?" And so she was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And the one thing she said to me though, she said, "I just want to make sure one thing." She said, "I'll let you come in, but you have to promise me that come later this month, you're going to show up and you're going to come see the Star Wars movie." And I said, "Star Wars movie? What are you talking about, Star Wars movie?" And she said, "Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is playing in theaters starting April 25th on a
Yep.
Friday for 1 week only.
Yep.
They're doing it in 4DX and also whatever else." And so I had to promise this lady that we were coming back to see Revenge of the Sith, which we will go do because I want to make good on my promise to the lady who let us buy popcorn and then go back out in the mall. But yeah, so for those that don't know, Revenge of the Sith being re-released 20th anniversary. That is April 25th on a Friday. There's a new poster that's been designed for it and everything.
You know,
Um,
I wish they would throw some of the scenes that were in the novelization back in here. It would put a whole lot better context to it and make that a really good movie.
yeah. Yep. You're right. But I still am going to go see it.
Yep. Oh, that's good.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait. But just to get that out of the way, she made us promise that. I am going to show you a picture here in a little bit, Matthew, that I want to show from our wonderful day at the mall. But in the meantime, let's go to the numbers. And yes, I was a popcorn player on Sunday. Wraith Mace is in the house. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you.
What's up, Brave Mace?
Uh, oh yeah, the amateur. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that, Rachel. Definitely. And yes, I love Sydney Sweeney just as much as you do, Ronnie. Just as much, if not more, than you do. All right. So so yeah, Minecraft movie obviously dominating. Bing, 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 bing. That's where it's at. And this movie's gonna, if it continues to climb, it's gonna keep on going to the $1 billion mark. Although, and I wonder if some of the bad press about kids throwing popcorn and
Mm,
acting unruly will scare some people from going and say, I just don't want to deal with that.
yeah.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Even people that grew up playing the game are now adults, and they, as you get older, things kind of change, and you're like, you know what? I'm not down for that. I don't need a 12-year-old throwing a bucket of popcorn on my head because that
Yeah.
has been happening.
Yeah.
The King of Kings, Angel Studios, religious film. The Amateur, like Rachel said, just went to see that. That is, 14 mil, just one weekend in release. Warfare, an A24 film. I read a little bit about. If I mean, it's a war movie, if I remember correctly. And how popular that is right now, I don't know. But there was a time when Black Hawk Down and similar
Hmm.
films were really popular. Hurt Locker,
Yep.
stuff like that. Drop, not familiar, gotta say. Chosen, Last Supper, number 6. A Working Man, Amazon Studios. I mean, these numbers are so bad, Matthew.
Yep. They're not
Snow,
exactly great.
Snow White probably not going to hit 200 million worldwide. I
Isn't
mean,
that amazing?
what a disaster. An absolute disaster for a Disney classic.
Yeah.
Even the remakes. The
Yep.
remakes have still been somewhat successful. This has just been an absolute disaster. The Woman in the Yard, a terrible premise for a horror movie. Um, and then The Chosen, The Last Supper Part 2, which, hey, I mean, 10 million, 6 million, you don't expect those films to do a lot. But this is where we're at right now, man. Right?
Yep.
This is where we're at. We're talking about movies that are doing 6 and 7 million over the course of a weekend, 14 over 3 weekends, or 20 over 3 weekends. It's rough.
Not
It is
good.
rough, dude.
Yeah.
Big time. Rachel says Rami Malek is a good actor. I agree. But as an action movie star, a little too frail. I agree. And fragile to seem believable. I agree with all of that.
Yep.
Just as Bella Ramsey is not believable as Ellie from The Last of Us. Woody Triple Deuce in the house too. Just want to say what's up, as he says hello to everybody. Um, and if Cindy played Snow White, I would have seen it 12 times already. Ronnie, I would have been right there with you, buddy.
A lot of people would have seen it multiple times, I'm sure.
I agree.
I'm
I
sure.
agree 100%. So did you see the Robert Downey Jr. photos? Did you see those
Yeah.
leaks?
Yeah.
I have not been able to confirm that these are real,
Right.
y'all.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
I mean, they
you
could
know,
be AI animated or whatever, but
it could be. But this possibly, and I've looked, I've tried, it's been reported on, is Robert Downey Jr. in the Doctor Doom costume, I guess. Kind of blurry, not the best photos. But this is test photos, I guess. And if you look, you can see obviously kind of when people take pictures, you've got your big screen that they roll down. You've got the lighting or whatever kind of holding that up that looks like a lighting rig. Um, I don't know, man. Like it's I don't know whether to believe this. We haven't gotten a nice, good, clear image of this yet. This could be totally faked. But if this is true, Matthew, what do you think about the costume?
Uh, it's kind of garbage.
It's boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Doctor Doom without the mask and the hood. And if you're going to
Yes.
show RDJ's face the whole time and not have him masked up or scarred up or something, it's not really Doom. Um,
I mean,
and that costume there is pretty darn boring.
it really is. I mean, if
Yeah.
if this reveal is supposed to be what it's supposed to be, this, if this is in fact what we're going to see, is extremely not unattractive. It's just not. There's nothing about this that makes me go, "Oh hell yeah!" I don't get excited for this.
Yep.
What also is weird is that you see in the center there, doesn't that look like Tony Stark's uh the cylinder that he
Yep.
has to put in his heart? Doesn't that look like that?
Yep. It sure does.
Which would lead me to believe that all along this is Tony Stark,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that's what's a little difficult is trying to kind of suss this out if this is in fact. But this has been reported around. This has been shared around. It's been shared around on some of the channels that I watch that have a lot of people, a lot of viewers. A lot of subs.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about this. Pop is AI right now. Was I like a computer there for a minute?
I didn't
I don't
notice
know.
anything.
Maybe my internet was kicking in and out. I could have been. Um, damn. Look at this for context. G.I. Joe
Oh yeah,
Retaliation
I saw that in there.
did better than Snow White 12 years ago. That's it's pretty sad. But yeah, I wanted to show this because I saw this the other day and I was like, you know what? I need to save this. And if you guys hadn't seen it, evidently this is at least the early leak look of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. And I'm not real crazy about it. I think it's rather boring. If you are going to do Doctor Doom, let's bring him in with a vengeance. Let's
Yeah.
bring him in with.
Well, I mean, they made a you know strategic error in casting the female Silver Surfer too. I mean, if you take the female Herald versus the female version of Silver Surfer because it's no longer Silver
Yeah.
Surfer. So I mean, they've already made some massive errors in judgment for this film. So
And for those that are comic book fans, like big comic book fans, the female Silver Surfer is that only like one issue?
I don't know. I've never seen the female Silver Surfer in comics. I know that there's a female Herald. It's not a Silver Surfer. It's a female Herald of Galactus, and
Okay.
that's a totally different character. As far
From
as I
what
know, the Silver Surfer was always the guy.
from what I've understood, the only time has just been in like one issue
Okay.
of a comic. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah,
and by all means,
I don't know.
because but and so I feel like okay, well that's taking a big step considering that if you're just pulling from an issue and not a comic run, not a series, um, we'll have to see how it's done. I'm not saying the actress isn't good. I don't know exactly how much dialogue she's gonna have. Who knows? Uh, but I did see, and you and I talked about this a little bit. So, Fantastic Four movie, folks, it is going to have their thoughts and feelings on gender politics and masculinity.
Yeah.
This is part of this is kind of going to be part of the film. The actors and actresses have spoken on it, and some of their quotes. All right, let me scroll down here a little bit. Um, what keeps getting pushed around, Matthew, in the rags, the websites, the classic Hollywood stuff, is that, hey, look, in the '60s, the Fantastic Four, Sue Storm, she was basically a housewife, and in the comics, she would show up with dinner on the table, and and yes, I've seen some of those panels. I would say none of us remember those comics. None of us probably read those runs of the comics. The ones that we probably know had her as a more active participant.
Yeah.
Um, and so we have, for instance, it says right here with Joseph Quinn, who's playing Johnny Storm. So we'll start there, okay? He had a little question and answer session. And it says actor Joseph Quinn openly questions whether the classic version of the character, the brash, woman chasing hotshot that Chris Evans brought to live in the 2005 film, still belongs on screen today. He was branded, quote, he was branded as this womanizing, devil may care guy. But is that sexy these days? Quinn asked. I don't think so. This version of Johnny is less callous with other people's feelings, and hopefully there's a self awareness about what's driving that attention seeking behavior. Um, is that what you want your Johnny Storm to be? A
Well, that's fundamentally changing the character, so it's no longer Johnny Storm. So there's that.
Johnny Storm is Johnny Storm.
Right.
He is brash, yes. He likes women, yes. He plays the field, yes. That's what he is. That's who he's been written as.
Right.
So you're right. To fundamentally change the character means that at that point he's no longer Johnny Storm. He's just he's just a guy that can light himself on fire, and all those characteristics that make him, whether they're good or bad or indifferent, they they make him who he is.
Right.
Those are called flaws, folks.
Yep.
Right? Those are
Yep.
character flaws. And what's good in a story is to have characters overcome their flaws. So if you remove the flaws and now you make him a very in tune with his feelings and other people, and he's very sensitive, then it no
He's so
longer
metro.
becomes the character, right?
Yeah. He's so
Um,
metro.
well, okay. And I was gonna say it, by the way. But that's so funny that you did because yeah, like in essence, you've changed the character. So then what arc does Johnny have to overcome in the film other than being a hero? You know,
Yeah. He has to
and
struggle with protecting his sister as she's trying to give birth, but he's incompetent at protecting it because only she can protect her and the baby because everybody else is going to be incompetent.
well, he can't take
Um,
away her agency.
no, yeah. You can't protect her. You can't be a mentor to her because she has to be her own person.
No, and she
Um,
could be 9 months, pregnant, about to drop, but you can't fight for her because she has to fight for herself. You
yep.
can't, you can't do that.
Yep.
um, but it says Quinn's Johnny is now defined less by fire and flare and more by introspection and social calibration, right?
So
And
not
then,
Johnny Storm.
and not Johnny Storm. So then we have Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm,
Yeah.
portrayed as both pregnant and politically powerful, the head of the Future Foundation and architect of global peace. Now, the actress describes Sue Storm as not as a superhero, but as a commentary on modern motherhood and womanhood, which is exactly what all Fantastic Four fans are going to the movie to see, right?
Yep.
Todd C, what's going on? I want to say hello to Todd C, and Mr. Madgus is in the house as well. And Johnny Reno. Get your gambling chips out, folks. All right, so she says, one of the things I love most from Sue's history is when she becomes Malice and all her dark stuff comes out. Uh, Kirby said, proving that while she might share a name with the Fantastic Four co-creator Jack Kirby, she doesn't have a healthy respect for his work. Okay, remember that.
Yep.
She shares his name, doesn't have a respect for work. She says, I was obsessed with that chapter of her life, so I wanted to make sure there were tones of malice in there with her, and she wasn't just the stereotype of a goody, sweet mother. I've always been really interested in the mess of femininity and how you can be both. How can you be all the things? Not just the tough, invincible, powerful woman, but also a mother who gives birth, which is itself a superhero act.
Here's the lie that everyone's telling you. Here's the lie. You can't. You cannot have it all. You have to choose what you want in life. And you can't have it all. You can't be all things to all people.
You know, the next sentence, I think, for the article tells me everything that I need to know, because it says the implication is clear. The Sue of old isn't acceptable anymore. Who said that it was?
Yeah.
Like, who the let's say you've been reading the comic for the last 40 years. Okay.
I guess they're not up on current trends in women wanting to be housewives and mothers again. The growing number of women who just want to be the homemakers and raise kids and take care of the house because they do a good job at it, and that's what they want in life. What about that growing demographic? It was a lie, and it forced us to raise prices to have a 2-income household all the time. It's ridiculous.
Well, the destruction of the nuclear family. Yeah. But I just, within regards to what the actors are saying about the film, are these the statements that fans are wanting to hear?
Nope.
Are these the statements about the Fantastic Four that people are wanting to hear? Look, I get it. Every director, every film, especially nowadays, it comes out, it has to be some statement of something, right? There's a platform. The platform must be used.
Hold on. Let's go back to the most successful movies in the past few years. You know what their platform was? Hey, come see my movie. It's a lot of fun. We've got action. We've got superstars in it. And we've got great storytelling. And those movies do well, right? When you do all this other nonsense, it turns people away because they're like, I don't care about that crap. I want to see a good movie.
And I think that's, you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Right? You're in the middle of watching a movie, you're enjoying it, and then you get a character who comes up and they make a statement, right? It's not just them having dialogue. It's like a statement piece of dialogue, right? And you're like, you roll your eyes, you're like, oh God. Another character comes in, and through their actions, right, and their facial expressions, you can tell what's being conveyed on screen, and you're like, oh God, really? Did they really just do that? That's kind of what I see here.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if they are in fact going after the modern audience that really doesn't exist,
right? That's another lie.
This could be the what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 Fantastic Four films already, right? With a sequel in there, right? Roger Corman, and then
so if you count Roger Corman's,
right?
Yeah, because you had 2 with Chris Evans, you had the Fan 4 stick. And then if you count Roger Corman's, but that one was never supposed to be released and never really was officially released. So
right. So then this could be the 5th fail.
No, 4th.
Well, okay, 4th if you're talking about wide release. fail of the
No.
Fantastic
If you
Four.
count the Roger Corman, this is 4.
Well, you remember the we had the Josh Trank, and then we
Yeah,
had
yeah. We had
Fantastic
Fantastic.
Four and the Rise of the Silver Surfer.
That's 3. So this makes 4.
Well, Roger Corman.
Well, if you count Roger Corman, but Roger Corman's was never supposed to be
Yeah,
released.
no, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think we're on the same page here.
Okay.
It just might be be wide ruled or college ruled.
Yeah.
Um, but but the thing is that when you have stuff like this, right? Statements like this from one of the actors that says, if he is the most intelligent person, then she is the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet. Between the two of them, they're building the idealistic society, and it just reeks of
Yeah.
like, what are we doing here? Like,
Well, he
what are
can't
we
be the
doing
most
here?
intelligent person on the planet. He's being played by Pedro Pascal.
It's yeah, no, that's for sure. But it just reeks of like, okay, are the characters going to preach? Uh, are the characters going to preach to us? Or do we just want to see the Fantastic Four in action?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean that's
that's all we
truly
want. We want a
what
good
we want to see.
Fantastic Four story. Give us a
Right,
family drama with these types of character archetypes that we know,
right.
getting these powers, having adventures, saving the world.
I mean, that's really what we want to see.
Yeah,
I don't think people have a problem with social messaging necessarily in movies. I think it's just that um, in a superhero movie,
yeah,
if it's done right, okay. For instance, I would say a lot of people had a problem with I think it was Age of Ultron, when you have the mother at the elevator when Tony Stark leaves the press conference and he's standing there beside the mother. You remember? And she
yep,
talks about, right, losing her son, I
yep,
believe.
yep,
And then that's the moment that Tony starts to buy into the whole pact of like, hey, we need to regulate superheroes, right? That's what
yep.
creates the division
Right.
for Civil War. Okay. See, that I think that scene was a little wonky, but I
Yeah.
understand it. It works within context. If I'm just being told that, Johnny is a womanizer, so we're changing the character to make him more sensitive. Well, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Is
How
that
does that
is
play
that
out in the story?
does it
What does
work for
that
the story?
actually mean to the storytelling
Correct.
narrative? Does it take
Yes.
away from the storytelling? I think it
Yes.
does, but
Yeah.
whatever.
No, I agree 100%. And if it's in service to the story, by all means, then do it. Make it work. Yeah, man, Joe's are right. Family and teamwork. Um, I think you're not going to there's not going to be a failure of that within the movie. I think we're going to get plenty of that. GI Jet, man, what's going on? I don't necessarily think it's going to fail.
Right.
Um, I think that here's an issue I really do have, Matthew, and we have kind of talked about it. I genuinely believe that the mass populace are kind of over superhero films at this point.
Well, I think they're only over superhero films because the last 5 years of them have been garbage. And
I
so they're tired of
agree.
seeing bad movies, whether they thought they were bad at the time or not. Subconsciously, there's a part of them that's like, I don't need to see that again. I don't want to buy it on physical media because it'll be on streaming, and I never were going to go back and rewatch it because subconsciously I know it was so terrible I don't need to see it again. Even if they thought, oh, that was fun, but it's diminishing return, and now they're like, why do I want to go pay and see this one? Because the last 5 years of them have been so bad.
Right. I agree with that too. Definitely, you and I have talked about it, but I think that genres come and go, and they have their time in the sun. And then there's copycats, and there's like lesser films, and then eventually it peters out. It's like
Well,
music to
so
me.
so it, I mean, it's not the genre that's failing; it's the writing, it's the storytelling, it's
I,
the
I'm
directing.
again, I'm with you there.
Yeah,
I agree with you, and I think it's like you create a clone, and then you create another clone from that
yeah,
clone, and then you create a clone from a clone from a clone from a
yeah.
clone. Eventually, it degrades, right?
Yep.
Look at westerns, how popular they were. They had their time, and then it just died, right?
And you
Sci-fi
know
to
what
an
signaled the
extent.
end? Do you know what signaled the end of the Western?
Well, I would say, let's see, in the 70s, it would be probably the more, well, I would say sci-fi, but I don't know. You tell me.
It was the deconstruction of the Western. So even back then, they started the deconstruction process and it killed Westerns. Once you deconstruct it, it's over. Superhero films have been deconstructed between Deadpool and Logan, right? You've deconstructed the superhero film. So it's been deconstructed. So it's over.
Yeah, and I can see that. We've had a bit of that. People have watched shows like The Boys, which obviously is the deconstruction
Yeah, that too.
series.
Yeah, that adds into it too.
But I just feel like the general public overall is just kind of they saw the hype, and like you said, and we've talked about the writing, isn't what it's been. The films haven't been what they've been. The stars that we had for 10 years aren't what the stars that have been in the new movies aren't those same stars. They're not
Yeah.
as hyped, they're not as big, they're not as good, and it's fallen off. And I think other than using things like bringing RDJ back into the fold, bringing Chris Evans back, and cherry picking a few of those stars
Yep.
for member berries, or for the flash of a film or two, I feel like that genre really peaked, and it's going to be extremely difficult to recapture that magic. Even seeing Fantastic Four, which we had not got on film yet, even seeing a new X-Men, series of films that we didn't get yet.
Yeah.
I just feel like the general public is just a little worn out on it. And yeah, G.I. Jet, man, it wasn't Civil War, yeah. And the reason I thought it was in Ultron, because I remember everybody hating Age of Ultron so badly.
Yes.
But the fact is like the character part of it was really the main part that I wanted to bring up, is that you can still bring up situations like that that's not beating you over the head, but
Yeah.
it's a good character moment, and it helps in Tony Stark realizing that, like, yeah, things have gotten a little out of control, right?
Yep.
People are getting hurt. Um, and also Franklin Richards. That was a comment that Mr. Magus said about didn't know Franklin was going to be that old. He's still a baby,
Yeah.
right? In the movie,
Well, but considering where they are
he's
on the
not
path
he's
to
not
getting the
even born
Fantastic
yet,
Four, that's
right?
pretty old.
Well, and you know what? You're right, and Mr. Magus is right too, right? Like but this is on a different Earth.
Yeah. Well,
This is not the same 616. This is on
so
a
why not bring back John Krasinski to play him, and then we'd have an intelligent
right.
Mr. Fantastic that was about perfect for the role that you turn into spaghetti.
Right. It's just some odd choices. I mean, we'll see. Look, Pedro Pascal, he's in everything now, right? He's in all of it. And The Last of Us, which I brought up a minute ago, he's in that too. And that's Disney's darling right now. I think a lot of the movie hinges on his performance for sure, and
Yeah.
people believing in him.
Yep.
But RDJ, we're gonna see how that all plays out. I think most of us kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
We know it's not the real Doctor Doom in some shape, form, or fashion, right?
Well, I
Uh,
mean, yeah.
yeah, people won't go to theaters because of COVID. Spider-Man: No Way Home killed ticket sales. Spider-Man: No Way Home was a huge boom.
Right. Well, and
That
that's what he's
movie,
saying.
yep,
He's
yep,
saying so if you read all those posts that he made, they're all about the contrast. The
right,
media says this, but this happens.
yes,
And
yeah,
so everything they're saying is wrong, right? And you're making good points on every one of those.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just like this one with Deadpool 3 explodes in theaters because it
Yep.
was a good movie, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
I think good movies definitely will bring people in, and the slop won't. I just wonder if overall, are we going to have a period where it's like movie after movie after movie after movie
yeah.
hits $1
Mi-
billion?
Mr.
That's going to be
Madgas,
tough.
I don't think Disney Plus should exist.
Yeah,
Disney Plus is bankrupt. It's never made a dime. It never will make a dime. And Disney would make more money licensing their stuff out to Netflix or Amazon
that's
than they
true.
do on their own streaming service. So having a streaming service actually takes away from their profitability. So I don't think they should be making good quality shows. I think they need to license that out to somebody else to make the good shows.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's at this point, if they want a guaranteed revenue stream, then they really just need to jump in
Well,
with
I mean,
licensing out and
yeah.
yeah,
But
actually
yeah,
pull back a little bit on
yeah,
trying to make everything and really pick and choose
yeah,
and make sure that you do what you did before, which was hire a director for their vision, not just to have their Disney's vision and hire a director that can't do
yeah.
anything that they have in mind, that they can't, they don't, that they want to do.
I,
Disney controls every aspect of it.
Yeah, Disney's hurting so much right now. They lowered hotel room rates because they know they're going to get killed by Epic Universe when that opens up.
Man, I
Right? They're
can't
doing
wait.
anything that they can to get people to the parks, and they're losing so much money hand over fist. I don't know how viable they are as a company moving forward.
Um, Bob Iger has systematically destroyed that
Yeah,
company since he took over
absolutely.
with
The
every move.
weatherman has come in and destroyed it.
It's interesting though. I mean, think about it. Like, if you were a shareholder in that company and all you've been told for 5, 6 years, 7 years, oh well, don't worry, we're this streaming service, it's going to lose money for the first 5 years, but then it's going to start being profitable, and that has continued to not be the case, right? You're losing billions of dollars, you're losing money hand over fist. All these shows that you've put out and all these characters that could have been awesome,
Yeah,
you've destroyed in live
yeah.
action for people, right?
I've said it
Star
from the
Wars,
beginning.
Star
The
Wars,
streaming
Star
wars.
Wars.
I've said it from the beginning. The streaming wars were over before they ever started. Amazon doesn't give an F that they have a streaming service. They make their money elsewhere. So they don't care what they put out or how many people subscribe to it because they've got money to do it. Netflix was the only successful streaming service until Tubi, and Tubi is licensing everything and putting up ads, and they're making money. So the whole thing is the streaming wars were over before they ever started.
Yeah, and and that's another conversation too about big tech coming in, and it's a buzzword that gets
Yeah.
used a lot. They disrupted the entertainment industry and basically took it over. And it's turned out to be it's ruined the entertainment industry as we know it, because think of how many times you're talking to someone out there, you're talking about a show
Yeah.
or you're talking about a service, and you use the word content.
Yep.
You use words that you're not talking about a film or a movie or a piece of work. It's like you group it together subconsciously now with just 3,000 other shows that
Yep.
you could search for,
Yep.
and it's now just, yeah, they've got good content.
G-
It's
G-
become second place.
yeah.
Or it's become just like, you don't think about it anymore.
GI Jet, man, I agree. It still is cheaper than cable. That's for darn sure. But
Uh,
quite
yeah.
honestly, the only two streaming services you need are Netflix and Amazon when this whole thing shakes out because everybody will be
Well,
licensing to them.
and Netflix ultimately has won the
Yeah,
streaming wars. I mean, without a
absolutely.
doubt. We I think all of us know that's pretty much apparent.
Yeah,
And
Tubi is good. Uh,
right.
they released that RoboForce cartoon, which is garbage, by the way. Don't go watch it. But they have a lot
Man.
of good stuff on there.
Well, the reason I guess I brought it up about whether or not, and yes, it's not cheaper than a Fire Stick, and I fully understand that, Mr. Madgus, all too well. I used to have Cody. Do you remember Cody?
I don't
Cody
know
was
that one.
a great you could download repositories for movies and TV shows
Oh wow.
basically, and it was like open source, and you could just like it had everything,
Yeah.
and you just download it on a Fire Stick, you jailbreak a Fire Stick or whatever, and you had it. It was awesome. Cody was
Wow.
the best. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, um, ultimately, I just feel like the when you take the poll of public opinion, when I talk to people now about Daredevil or um, Captain America, right? Anything, I would dare say, and maybe it's just a byproduct of what's happening at the time, but a lot more excitement that I heard out of people years ago about films that involved Marvel. You know,
Yeah.
just the name brand. The same could be said for Star Wars. I haven't heard anybody say a good thing about Star Wars personally, face to face. And I talk to a lot of people every day, Matthew.
Apathy
Um,
has set in on Star Wars, and people just don't care anymore.
it's awful.
Yeah.
Like, it's awful, dude. I haven't
Yeah.
heard a good thing face to face someone say about Star Wars. It's
Todd
a long time.
Todd C. Nicelli did make a 6 episode RoboForce cartoon, and people like Pixel Dan, uh, Secret Galaxy Dan Larson, Shartimus Prime do voices in it. So they got people like that doing voices in it. But Dwayne The Rock Johnson is also an executive producer on the show. And the show starts out, you watch the intro and the cold open for the show, and you know everything you need to know about the show, and there's no reason to watch it because white man bad, orange man bad, capitalism bad, and that's all the show's about.
Is it an anime?
Yes, no, yeah, it's an animated cartoon about the new RoboForce figures that they've made, and they make reference to the original RoboForce and what happened to them, and
Okay.
then moving forward.
Huh.
Yeah, no, that's the entirety of the RoboForce 6 episodes that they did, or whatever it was, and they released it on Tubi. It just came out this past weekend. You can watch it if you want because it's free, whatever.
Yeah.
But that cold open and everything that they did there just turned me completely off, and I don't think I can go back and watch it because it's more propaganda. So
Um, So does it get into like, robo forcing, I guess? I mean, like, is it part of it or is it,
in a
heavily,
way,
heavily
yes.
focused? Right? I mean, I just wondered. I mean, it's been a while since I mean, it's been a long time, many, many years as far as Robo Force is concerned. And so I haven't,
Well, yeah,
I
I
haven't
mean
paid
it
attention.
was not a very successful toy line to begin with, but it had some
Right,
nostalgia back from the 80s,
right.
and they just kind of rebuilt it. And you look at Naselli and the projects that they're working on, they're clogging up Walmart shelves right now with Biker Mice from Mars, Sectars, Robo Force.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't
Uh,
even think about
and
that, but
but
now that you
they've
mention
they've
it,
got this
sure.
spectacular intro that they did, that they animated, that shows all their properties. They've got Moo Mesa on there. They've got all the properties that they're making toys from, animated in this little quick, like the Marvel thing that happens in front of all the Star Wars or Marvel stuff. They've got one of those for the Nacelli verse, right? So they're trying to build this whole thing up and build it out and make this whole big thing from the toys that they're making to get people interested in buying the toys again. And I applaud them for that. But they went and they made a boring TV show that's not about anything. There's no reason to go out there and get it. I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of similar to the old Captain Planet cartoon, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's as good as the old Captain Planet cartoon,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's kind of in that vein where they're going to browbeat you and you're going to like it.
So, Ben Joseph says the Xeno version 3 is a great lightsaber core. There is something nice. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and Shartimus is a voice actor. What?
Yeah, so Russ is one of the voice actors
Interesting.
for a background character. They all play background characters. They're not main voice actors for the show, but Pixel Dan Larson,
That's
Shartimus
interesting.
Prime, and
Yeah.
some
Okay.
others
Huh.
got little bit parts in there.
Um, any street humans in it, Mr. Backus says. Shark
Hey,
is
just pay
my
attention to
man.
Bobby Valla. He's got his own version that's coming out soon. It's going to totally
Oh
kill
wow.
Shartimus's hopes for the
Okay.
future.
Okay. Better look out. He says Pop would make a better voice actor. I don't know about that. You have to be a very specific part.
Yeah.
The dumb hillbilly. That's what it is. You Garath, The Rock, Pixel Dan Larson, Shardy, all in a capitalism bad show. You can't make this shit up. Yeah, I had read an article about it, but honestly, I really didn't know too much about it. So that's why, thankfully, I have you to kind of lay it all out for me. And G.I. Jetman says Andor was boring getting back to Star Wars. I'll be honest with you. I thought Andor was the best thing they've actually made Disney
Yep.
Star Wars. And that's
Yeah.
just my
Yeah.
opinion, but
Yeah.
it's
Me
because
too.
I thought the writing and the acting for the most part, I know the
Yeah.
lead character is a very weak lead. It's not beyond me to understand that Diego Luna is not a great actor, but I thought that the writing of the show is some of the best stuff that Disney has put out pertaining to Star Wars.
Yeah, it's like
Just
they
my opinion.
reworked George Lucas's Star Wars Underworld storylines that he had written 20, 40 some odd scripts for that
Right.
they threw away, but they probably just repurposed and threw some of that into this Andor show. No, I the first season of Andor, it has its strong moments. I understand why people say it's boring. Some people say it's a slow
Absolutely. I
burn.
do. I understand that.
I understand people saying that. I really liked it. I was engaged in the story. It to me, it had good writing and acting across the board. Even Diego Luna had his moments, even though he's not the main character. It's a typical Disney thing, right? You title a project after one of the characters, and the show has nothing to do with the character, right? It's all about everything going around him,
Right. Right.
right? And
Yes.
that's the most interesting thing about the story. The prison scene with Andy Serkis's character, all that stuff was really good.
I think that's and see I try to tell people about that, man. Like
Yeah,
if yes, people call it a slow burn. I fully understand that. I truly do. But there are certain scenes like Stellan Skarsgård's, speech that he gives
yeah,
at the end of that one episode
yep,
to the guy who's not sure he wants to commit to the rebellion. And then the prison, sequence, and especially at the break, uh Andy Serkis is
yeah,
fantastic. I mean,
yeah.
just
He killed it.
yeah, like really good. And
I actually think that's probably Andy Serkis's best acting he's
oh
done
oh
since
oh
Elmo.
yeah, no, absolutely. Because if he's not playing a creature
Right.
character, right, then you don't really know him in
Yeah.
that way. And I agree with you. I thought it was so fantastic. Of course, Andor is coming out soon. It's coming up very soon.
Well,
Um,
and I will tell you guys, the second season of Andor is going to be very different than the first season. So
yeah, that's what
I
it seems to
believe
be
that they're
like.
trying to cram 4 seasons worth of stuff into this season because
Three episode drops at a time, right?
so I think each one of those is going to be basically the outline for each one of the seasons that he wanted to do that he knows he's not going to get to do. So he crammed it all into here and just streamlined it, which is kind of what they should have done to begin with. But in any case, it's going to be a very different season two, and I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it.
Yeah, no, it seems to be shaping up that way. So for those that really had that slow burn, and like Johnny Reno says, I hated Rogue One. It's kind of why I haven't watched Andor, and I understand that. I did enjoy most of Rogue One. There
Yeah,
are parts of it that
I
I
like
have
Rogue One.
problems with.
Yeah,
I know you do too. And Joseph says I like slow burn, but Andor he just can't really get into it, and he did like Rogue One as well. Mr.
yeah.
Magus says smash that like, or you will not get a cameo part in Robo Force. That is the best thing I've heard in quite a while. That's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Matkus. Yeah, for sure. That's great. Oh my God, that's fantastic. I want a cameo in Robo Force. Damn it. Beep bop boop. All right, that's the best I could do. Um, but
Wait a minute, that's offensive. You can't do that. You're canceled.
oh, that's right. I can't do that. Um, that's terrible. That's just terrible. Um,
She's
okay.
winning big right now, though.
That is funny though. I love that. But yeah, no, and I don't want to go on and on about Andor, but season 2 is shaping up to be different. It's dropping in 3 episode bunches. Okay. And
Yeah.
that's supposed to be, I guess, for each like year. So 3 episodes is 1 year, then the next three is 1 year, the next three is 1 year, and they're filling up to Princess Leia, right, and being
Yeah.
chased by Vader, and that's kind of where that's going to go.
Well, no,
I,
it has to. It has
well,
to lead up
before
to
Rogue
Rogue.
One, yeah, Rogue
Yeah.
One, lead in Rogue One. That's what I mean. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it, but I fully understand that a lot of people are not. They're just not into it. I am curious. Are you into the Last of Us series at all? I mean, did
Nope.
you watch the first season at all? Did you play any of the video games?
Nope. I never played the video games. I only heard the massive fallout from the Last of Us 2. And only then did I learn how popular the first game was. And then
Oh, the
based
first
on what
game.
I know of that, where this second season's going to go is going to be rough for people who know or don't know. I don't know, but
The,
we'll see.
the first game is it's so good. It's so good in fact. I will admit something right here on live television, ladies and gentlemen. This is live television. You can't take this shit back. Uh I basically cried after the opening of the first game. It's so those games are very cinematic. Um it's it is the current Sony method of like movie games where you like play some and then you watch these long cutscenes and then you play some and then you watch these cutscenes and it's more like playing a movie. And that's kind of the Sony way, especially with their first person games. And that first game, you have to escape an apocalypse going on, zombie apocalypse. You don't know what's happening. You're trying to get through it. You're playing part of it. You're not playing part of it. You're playing part of it. But if you have kids, if you have children, it's a very touching scene, especially when you find out what happens to his daughter.
Right.
Okay. And dude, that shit was powerful. I ain't gonna lie. Like it
Yeah.
was very powerful. And so I played the first game, played through it, and then the second game is an absolute fucking travesty.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
is an absolute travesty. You can tell that there was more at play than just making a good video game with some social commentary. It's
yep.
very heavy
And
on social commentary.
if you look real close, you'll find out what the big difference is between the first and second game. And it's not Neil Druckmann. It's the writer. The person who wrote the first game did not write the second game.
That
And
is
it's not Neil
correct.
Druckmann. That guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him.
No, but there is a big difference between the two. I'm not saying the game creatively is not, made with care. I'm not saying it's not a good like it's a good game. It's just man, there's some rough stuff.
Yeah.
When you played the first game and you care about these characters,
Right.
then to see what happens to those
Yep.
characters and how really disrespected they are, it's
Yeah.
tough to swallow. It's very difficult to take.
I mean, it's way worse than killing Optimus Prime in the movie. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
oh, oh, oh. I mean, look, I'd say 100%. 3-star draw, man. He's going to stay on you about this 1923, Matthew. He says RoboForce got to be better than 1923. He said maybe he didn't like it because it gets to the point. Wow.
Wow. All
Stick a
right, buddy. All
dagger,
right.
buddy.
Well, those are shots fired there.
And see, Mr. Magus, I'm with you, man. Like I did like Rogue One. There are scenes where I thought,
Yeah.
it could have used a little better writing or whatever, but I liked Rogue One. I enjoyed it at the theater, and I'm with you. I understand how this series could definitely be slow. Yeah, look, stick through it. I thought the first season of Last of Us was all right. There's a little bit in there that's like, okay, whatever. I think that the casting, I brought it up at the top of the show. Casting is everything. I think who they cast as Ellie is a terrible choice.
Yeah.
Joel, I think, Pedro Pascal, is a fine casting choice. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
they have emasculated that character from the games quite tremendously. Johnny Rito says, I played Last of Us 1. I have part 2, but haven't even opened it yet. Open at your own risk.
Man.
How about
Yeah.
that?
I mean, it. From everything everyone said, I don't think it's worth it. Love the first game. Don't play the second.
Right? Hey, Graph, if you've got a tissue, please. And do like 3 Star Draw does. Get a really good box, pack it full of packing peanuts, and send it to me. And I promise I will use it on a show. Mr. Magus, I'm having a hard time seeing Pedro as a hard, tough guy. And in this show, he's not. He really isn't. They
Nope.
really have emasculated him.
I'm having a tough
it
time
does
seeing
suck.
him as the smartest man on the planet. So Fantastic Four's not going to go well for him either.
Yeah, Jetman asks, have you watched Leverage Redemption? I am not familiar personally. I am not. Definitely have to look it up and
Yeah, I don't
see.
know.
But Joseph says GTA 5 does Johnny from The List and the Damned wrong too. Shit, I played the shit out of GTA 5. I'm trying to think about that for a second. Johnny from the Lost? I don't know. I had to go back. I played the crap out of it though. Maybe I'm just missing it. I probably am. And he says, yeah, that's why I haven't opened it yet. Yeah, I get it for sure.
Golf clubs, man. Golf clubs.
Yeah, there's a lot of memes out there. Great memes. That's for sure.
So many great memes.
Yeah, especially with golf clubs and Abby. Because they,
and Abby. Yeah, every time
in the
you see
new
Abby.
show, they introduced the Abby character. HBO has put out one episode, or Max, or whatever, the first episode. And they do introduce the Abby character from the second game.
And it doesn't look anything like the video game character.
That's because they didn't make her a bodybuilding hulk of a it's ma'am.
Yeah.
It's ma'am.
Steroid infused ma'am. Whoa. You're right there? What happened? Pop, where'd you go? Oh, we lost him. There you go.
I swear.
At least you didn't end stream, right?
Carry me for a second.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Thanks.
I sorry I can't highlight the chat right now. I don't know why that function's not working for me, but yeah. GTA. I don't know. Those games are kind of fun.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
So it just changed my speakers to coming out of my speakers on desktop, which I'm trying to change right now. So I apologize if there's any echo, y'all. That is unintentional. And hopefully, let's see. Did that change it?
Yeah, I mean, you sound fine to me. I think the chat's hearing you, so that's
yeah.
good.
Hang on, man. Did that change it?
I mean, I hear you. I don't
Yes, I think you guys can hear me now. So once again,
yeah,
okay.
I think we can hear you either way.
Once again, I had the absolute gremlin in my system that I was having problems with a while back when I would share a screen and it would kill, just kill it. Dude, I went down a tremendous rabbit hole trying to figure out what the problem was with that, and it is a never-ending rabbit hole, my friend.
As far as I can tell, everybody's having issues with all these updates that StreamYard's been doing. So,
Good God,
yeah,
I swear, man.
it's been a mess.
Yeah, that's a so anyway. Let's see. I'm kind of scared to share something. It really doesn't make any sense. It kills my camera, kills my audio,
Yeah,
and then I have to go into the settings. Then I have to go into settings in my computer, and so it takes 30 seconds or it
yeah.
takes a minute, and it's just real pain in the ass.
Well, and I can't stream from my laptop at all because StreamYard doesn't
Really?
recognize my camera or speakers on my laptop. So,
Yeah, so that must be updates.
yeah.
So this is some news that I know you're going to be real happy about, folks. If you haven't seen Godzilla minus one, do
Ah,
yourself a
it's so
favor
awesome.
and watch it.
Ah, it's so awesome.
Godzilla minus one is getting a sequel officially. Um, I don't know a lot about it. It's just been confirmed. I know that last November they confirmed that there is a new one on the way. But if you haven't seen Godzilla minus one, if you're going to be awake for the next 2 hours after this stream, do yourself a favor, find that movie and watch it.
It's so good.
It is awesome. I'm telling you, it is awesome. It
Yeah.
is in Japanese. You will have to have subtitles. So if you're not a
It
fan of reading, that's
yeah.
difficult. But
Yeah,
man,
it's
it's
my
so good.
second favorite Godzilla movie next to the very original Godzilla movie.
I'm telling you, man, I was
It's so good.
I was pleasantly surprised. I took my son to see it. He absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And again, Garaf, send me some Kleenex because guess what happened when I watched Godzilla minus one in the theater?
Yeah.
I was sitting beside my son, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I was like this. I was like
I mean
wiping the tears, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't see this. He doesn't.
yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It was that good. It's so good.
Yeah, no, the family dynamics, the whole thing with that movie is absolutely phenomenal. I haven't listened to the English dub version.
I don't even want to.
I don't
I,
either. My wife
nah.
says that she wants to watch that at least one time so that we know what the difference is. And that's fair. I mean, it's
I
good,
know, I get it.
but we went to the movie theater and watched it in the original Japanese with subtitles, and we loved it. It was so good.
So
Yeah,
it says here, and I get that, Mr. Magus, too, as far as it making you sleepy. I get that. I watch everything with captions now.
yeah,
And as a matter of fact, this movie is what got me started on that.
yeah,
And now I watch everything with captions because so often I'm watching something and I can't pick out what it is, especially if there's an accent. So that's what I do for everything now. Sometimes they're completely correct. Sometimes they get some weird words in there.
yeah.
But here it says there's no word on when the sequel will be released or what it'll even be called, but production is underway. In an interview, the director Yamakaze revealed that he begun work on a screenplay and storyboards, and also confirmed that the sequel will benefit from a bigger budget. Which, in a way, I'm not
Yeah.
thoroughly
No.
happy to hear because I think smaller budget means
Yeah.
more creative.
Well, and you've heard me say that a million times.
Right.
And when you realize that it was what 16 million to make that movie, $16 million to make this movie. And when you watch it and see how much better it is than anything that Hollywood's been putting out in the last 5 years, right? You're going to be blown away. And to say that they're increasing the budget, you're like, oh, what's that going to do? Is that going to create too much problem in terms of creativity? But I hope not.
Yeah. It's and look, there's scenes in it that you watch when you see the design of Godzilla. Is there
So good.
scenes where you kind of look and you could maybe, if you want to freeze frame it and pick it apart like anything, I'm sure you probably could go in
Yeah.
and go, but just as a film, as it's happening on screen, it really harkens back to the old school Toho
Yeah, it does.
style.
I
And
mean, like I said, it fits right into
yeah,
that original movie, and it works well in that
it really,
context.
really does.
It's. I mean, I really that was my favorite movie of that year for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Didn't it come out like in December or so? Late
Uh,
2023? I think it
I
did.
I don't know if it was that or if it was January 2024, but yeah,
I thought it came out like late 2023. I could be wrong, but
you're probably right. I just remember waiting forever for it to come onto physical media so I could get it
right, right. Um,
because they kept re-releasing into theaters and making more money.
yeah, they just kept it going, which is a great idea. Word of mouth kept building. People kept telling people.
Wow, imagine that.
Yeah,
The old way of doing things still works.
yeah, yeah. That funny. Actually a good movie and people telling their friends, "Hey, we
Yeah,
got to go back and see this." Oh, you haven't seen it? I'll go with you.
right.
I mean, I
Yeah.
used to do that. I
Oh,
used to do that.
absolutely.
It's like, yeah, you haven't seen it yet? Shit, I'll go see it again. I'll go with you. Hell yeah.
I mean,
It's like,
I mean, how do you think I saw The Matrix so many times in the theaters?
at least the first one anyway.
Yeah. It's the only one. There's only a handful of movies I saw multiple times in the theaters, and The Matrix was one of them.
Yeah, I that first one, but man, I'll never forget. You guys in the chat, you tell me, do you remember the highway chase scene from like the second movie that just
I
went
remember how
on
they filmed it.
forever?
Yeah, I remember how they filmed it. I remember watching that whole part of it. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I remember that, but like that highway chase scene. What's up, Clint Jorgensen in the house? That highway chase scene, I just remember watching it and getting bored. And
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
it reminded me of the podcast scene in
Yeah.
A Phantom Menace. I got bored watching it because it was just like the same thing just over and over. Was it in regards to theater history or graphics and CGI, was it amazing? Yes, absolutely. And
I mean,
pretty
the stunt work that they did in that highway scene was pretty good.
I
The
agree
fact that
with
they
you.
used the same 5 miles of track over and over and over again, I guess your brain picked up on that.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I remember watching it and my first reaction right off the cuff was just like, man, when is this gonna end? Like I remember distinctly watching it and thinking like, holy crap, man, this has been going for a while.
Yeah.
And Clint brings up a good point, and then also Mr. Magus brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Revolution is coming in movies to bring these costs down. Who knows how long the big studios can hold out? The studios are going to get bought up if they haven't already.
Well,
I think you're going to have conglomerates like you already do in entertainment. I mean, they've
oh
already been
gosh.
bought up to a degree, right?
Yeah.
By major media companies.
Yeah.
But I think that theaters, there's going to be a lot of theaters closing, and then from a studio aspect, they're no, I can't see how they could survive under the current climate. Um, I did have an article saved as well. Here in a second, I'll look and see if I can find it. But you tackle this one, Matthew, if you
Yeah.
can, from Mr. Magus.
How can he under the ocean and standing above? Well,
Yeah,
that's
how can
easy.
Godzilla be under the ocean and then
Yeah.
stand above it like out of a bathtub?
Well, that's how big he is, right? I mean, as he gets closer to shore, right, there's still a grade of sea as it gets deeper and deeper before it drops off into the trench, right? So he's just walking up the shoreline, going, "Hey guys, what's up?" As he's coming out. It's either that or he's got flotation devices on his feet.
I wondered about that. I wondered about that. But he's probably just swimming. He's probably
Well,
just
so
swimming.
So they did a great job with Godzilla -1 with that because they showed him in that swimming scene. That was
Yes.
awesome
Yeah, they did.
the way they did that. But when he's standing up and he's like sloshing through the water with his feet, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Unless he's approaching the city and he's in that reclaimed land that they do in Japan because they take all their trash and they make it a landfill, literally filling the land and concreting it over to make an entire city on top of it, which is what
Yes.
they've done in several places in Japan.
Um, you know what? I never really thought of that though. I don't think I've ever thought of that. Like, what exactly how does he stand up out of the water? He stands up when he's close to shore,
That's right. Yeah.
right? He
Yeah.
stands up when he's close to shore. No, Woody, he doesn't walk on the water. He's oh my God. And yes, Graph,
Hey
it
guys,
wouldn't
this is
surprise me.
Easter week, man. I mean, come on now, calm down.
Oh wow, there we go. Yeah, he's got one of those big float. Oh shit. Speaking of floaties and speaking of Easter weekend, okay. My son and I were at the mall on Sunday. We have this big giant mall here in Nashville. It sucks. It's not good. Um, it's a bunch of stupid stores and outlet stores and specialty, very niche stores. And then it also has like some Tennessee, uh, you know, like go in and buy a Tennessee hat or a Tennessee shirt, the Grand Ole Opry, whatever. But we were sitting in those lounge, the chairs, the massage chairs, you know, that you can sit in, that you put $5 in and you kick back for 15 minutes and they
Right.
massage you and everything.
Yep.
So we kicked back in one of those chairs and we sat for 15 minutes getting a massage. It was freaking awesome. And we looked up, and walking by us was this guy. He was probably in his like late teens, and he was wearing floaties. He was wearing blown up floaties on his arms. Under his t-shirt was above it, and he had on blown up swimming floaties, and I've never seen that before. And so I didn't know if anybody has seen that. Is that a new trend? Is that a new? He had floaties on. I was like, what the fuck is this doing? This guy's wearing floaties.
He thinks he's Marty McFly wearing his life preserver around in 1955.
I'm serious. I'm like, I've never seen someone wearing floaties out in public. It was the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Hey, didn't that happen in 2015 in Back to the Future? I mean, come on.
That's true. But it was so ridiculous. So I want to share this picture with you guys.
What's up,
My
punk?
son and I had our picture taken with the Easter Bunny.
Hey, that's not a creepy picture at all.
And it was his idea. This was at Bass Pro Shops.
Okay.
It was my son's idea to run back to the entrance and grab these hats that you wear, which is a fish. It's a bass, and stick them on our head and get our picture with the Easter Bunny. What do you think? What do you think about that, Matthew?
Hey, that's awesome, man. Your son spurred that on.
I thought
Hell
it was
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. He was like, oh no, it was his idea for one to get our picture with the
Right.
Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Number two, it was his idea to run back and grab the bass hats. It's a stupid fish you wear on your head. And then after we got our picture made, I did buy him the hat. So he's a proud owner of a bass hat. He's never gonna wear it again, but he'll always have the memory. But anyway, I couldn't help it. I had to show that. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And yeah, the Easter Bunny probably is absolutely terrified inside. If I had to guess. Yeah, Punk, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see
Hey,
here.
Punk, we saw you having fun with your friend again during your stream too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, you got to keep that guy on a leash, man. He's gonna keep showing up. He's gonna call Ken. He's gonna call Ken, sick Ken on you. He's gonna turn Ken against you. Tony's Figs hanging out. What are you doing,
What's
dude?
up, Tony?
Early on the West Coast, baby. You got your whole night ahead of you, Tony. Whole night. We'll be out cruising for chicks.
I'm West
Mr.
Coast. He's
Magus.
Arizona.
You know, it does look like a vagina turned sideways. It it truly does. It looks like a
Vagina.
turned sideways.
Wow.
Oh Lord. Anyway. Oh my God. Yeah, we couldn't help it. It was fun. What the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he had his picture with the with Santa for years and all that shit. But been a long time. Been a long time, and very apropos, in my opinion. I thought it was great. Um, they're coming out with a Smurfs movie again, a new
Another
Smurfs
one?
movie, and they're coming out with a new Smurfs movie.
Didn't all those fail so badly that they weren't gonna do anymore?
Evidently not. Evidently not. They
I mean, Three
are.
Apples High has to sell somewhere at some point, right?
Don't you remember? Okay, so let me ask you a question. You say Three Apples High. I remember a commercial. Maybe you guys in the chat will remember this too. Whenever they would come up with a promo for the Smurfs, there used to be one that ran here in Nashville, and it said, "What's Three Apples High and has their own time zone?"
Yep.
And then it would be, the Smurfs. And me being the idiot that I am, whenever I've come across someone very short, not anybody in the chat, okay, no one particular in the chat,
No room for you at Joe Fest.
but over the years, I have used the term, "What's Three Apples High and has their own time zone?" And then it would be whoever the person that I was standing next to that just happened to be 4 foot nothing.
Right.
And no one has ever gotten that. And I
Really?
thought someone has had to have grown up with a promo for the Smurfs,
Right.
Three Apples High.
We had it at ours too on Channel 20 or whatever it was.
Ours was WZTV, which ended up
Whatever.
becoming the
It was
Fox
UHF
affiliate here.
channels.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Woody was a Gummy Bears guy, and I get that.
Love
I
Gummy
can
Bears.
understand that. Me too. Bobby Wolt, growing up, my favorite Smurf was that little Unabomber Smurf. I'm with you. Yes, very popular. Very popular. The Unabomber Smurf. Punk says Three Apples High would be Three Apples Howl would be a scary fucking blue creature. I'd say Three Apples High would be a scary fucking blue creature. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, this is look, Rihanna is doing the soundtrack. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
I couldn't be more
Are they
excited.
trying to make a Trolls movie?
Rihanna.
If they're casting Rihanna, are they trying to make a Trolls movie,
I
or are
love
they
the
trying
fact-
to troll people?
This is
I mean,
from this is
what's
from
happening here?
Collider of all places.
Well, it's freaking Collider. What do you expect? They're a bunch of trolls.
Rihanna Smurfette strolls through the forest in new Smurfs image. Exclusive. God, this is how bad it's gotten for Collider. Exclusive Smurf footage.
How Smurfy is that? Can we Smurf it?
Smurf you.
Smurf you.
And they even have it. I love it. This is like the Trolls movie. This could be like Minions. This
That's what I'm
could be
saying.
like any one of them. Look, the Smurf hand with the finger and the button that says party. Oh, there's going to be a dance sequence at the end of this movie.
So I'm telling you, trying to rip off Trolls, and they're going to do such a piss poor job at it. People are going to be, what the hell is this? And Smurfs will be dead for another decade or two.
Do you know? And my cousin may remember if he's still awake. I used to collect the little Smurf figures. You guys remember those?
I had a ton of them.
I had a bunch. I had a bunch of those fuckers, and California raisins.
Yep. Oh, I had a couple of those too. Yeah.
I had the California raisins. I had the Smurfs.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Yeah. Those things. I
And
go to my
then
local
Muscle
record
Men
shop.
came out, and man, I had a shit ton of those too.
Absolutely. Muscle Man. Are you kidding me? Hell yes.
Yeah.
Shit. I know more about those figures and toys than the current stuff that's out there right now. It's sad. Oh my God. I don't know anything about anything other than G.I. Joes. It's like, hey, you know the name of that thing. What was the dragon? It's the big dragon. You know, it's like $700.
Hey, you know what? I just saw Bathier pop up on BBTS, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he have that tax associated as well?
Yes. There's definite tax associated with
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. Didn't Smurfette go into space recently? I did not see that. Was she the first Smurf ever in space?
She
In
Smurfed
space.
space.
Ah, she Smurfed space. I can't even say it. I can't. Oh, sorry. Oh, that was.
All right, guys.
Yes, I
if
do.
you want to order the Bathier from BBTS, it's $7.99 for pre-order, $2.39 and for the fire, and $2.69 for the wings.
Ooh.
And of course, that is with the caveat, non-refundable deposit of $160 for the dragon, but also excludes tariff surcharge. So remember that whenever you're doing anything on BBTS, excludes tariff surcharge. That will be defined before the pre-order fills.
I saw that. I saw that. I was watching the Four Bald Guys. What's that show called again? The Big Show? No, it's not that.
No.
What's it called?
Bald Guys.
Four fucking Bald Guys. That's right. That's what it's called. I can't remember. Punk, what's the name of that show? Put it in the chat. I can never remember it. Anyway, I was watching it earlier. and yes, they were showing that, and I thought, that's bold, baby.
Yeah.
Like that's bold. Come on, man. They up the price, and then on top of that, they say excludes, tax or tariff surcharge. Okay.
Which
great.
means that they can put whatever they
Oh,
want
100%.
on that tariff
Absolutely.
charge.
Yes, it does. And anybody that wants to say, well, no, they're only going to put, you don't really know right now.
You don't.
Know.
You have no
idea.
idea what they're going to put on it.
Yep.
And what they say what they end up putting on there has no relevance to the tariff that they actually had to pay for it. I am positive on that.
Yeah. Chris Brown going to be Papa Smurf. Ouch.
Oof.
Papa don't take no mess, from what I heard.
Oof.
Bobby Will says it's going to be Smurfing bad. I agree. Smurf prawn. I don't know. I don't want to see it if that's the case. Smurfs and raisins. Yeah, confirming my collection. Smurfy and
raisins.
Let's see here. Go to Hallmark and see Smurfs everywhere. Really?
Okay.
That's interesting. You know what? No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you go to the Hallmark store, or you go to Carlton Carl's, or I would go to my local record shop, and they had like the glass cubicles or curio type things, and they'd have them in there too. That's for sure. Dang. 3-star draw is feeling the foot BTS. Not so happy right now. I know he's not the only one. Bobby Wold says, is Gargamel in this? I don't know. Just scrolling through and seeing. I really
he's a
didn't
white
see
bald incel, so I would imagine that he is.
Probably not. You know who is in it though? Everybody's favorite late night talk show guy, James Corden.
What?
James Corden.
Who?
Applause. Where's the applause? James Corden. Well, I guess that didn't go over the way I thought it was going to. You know, the guy that stopped traffic in LA so he could dance in his costume. Have you not seen that? You had to have seen it. The guy stopped rush hour traffic so they could do a dance for like Wicked or something. And this was like 4 years ago.
Okay.
James Corden, very, very annoying British twit that got a show over here and became popular in the United States.
I actually do know the name,
Ooh, Clint trying to start a fight amongst those of the R&B sphere. Rihanna greater than Beyonce. Man, them's fighting words for some people. They'll take you serious. They'll look all the way back to Destiny's Child. They'll go all the way back to Bootylicious if you ain't careful. Pay my bills. Pay my bills. Oh my God. Oh no. Wokey Smurf played by Rachel Zegler. What do you think about that?
Man, I tell you what, she's not going to be in the limelight and in the public eye working for any major media corporations for quite a while.
3-star. Yeah, the new tariff warning, they're going to make $1 billion on scalping their customers. You look, I would think, there we go, bald baby. I would think that they, if they knew what was good for customer service, they wouldn't try to take advantage of that situation.
I should hope not. And for the reputation and everything else, I don't think that they would, but you never know.
Woody, 3 bald guys and a person who should never touch a computer, new show name. And Tony Baldy dizzied the fuck out of me. Yeah, it got quite interesting there for a minute. Oh no, Johnny Reno, no. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Look at your face.
Now, remind me how the stream ended tonight on that bald guy show. Wasn't it Baldy yelling at his mom? I'm on live with my friends.
Where's the meatloaf? Where's the meatloaf, Mom? It always ends that way.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying.
The joke's gonna get old after a while, you know. People are gonna be asking,
what joke? There's no joke there.
I know. It's like there's only enough internet to go around for one computer and one tablet.
He talks too loud. It interferes with Mom's soaps when she gets home.
That's great. I love it. Oh my God. Yes, I did say twit. Or knob end would be even better. A bell end, knob.
Bell end.
Oh my God.
What are we talking about?
It doesn't matter. There's not much else to really, I didn't have anything else to talk about. There was an article that I did want to bring up. I had become privy to, but it's not worth really talking about. It was basically the number of jobs in Hollywood that have gone down. There's the writing jobs, and there's no sense in getting into it right now. But I did want to bring that up only because now you have these writers who went on strike, and now they're complaining that 43% less jobs.
Well, I mean, we tried to tell you.
Yes.
And you chose not to listen.
Yeah.
And you did it anyway. And now you're suffering the consequences of it.
Sure.
I mean, those strikes were the worst time strikes you could ever have had. Because Hollywood's like, oh, great. This gives us an opportunity to clean the books. Right. And so they wiped out a whole bunch of jobs. They got rid of a whole bunch of people because they're like, oh, they're on strike. We got to move on. We got to go on with these projects.
Yeah.
And they killed a whole bunch of jobs for people because they were striking. And you didn't get anything from it. You got zero from the strikes.
Well, and that's the thing, man, is that, you know, all you heard, you had the actor strike, then the writer strike back to back. You heard Rachel Zegler saying, for every hour I have to wear a Disney princess dress, I should be paid. It's like, okay, the writers, we need 10 writers on every project. If it has 6 episodes or more, we
No,
need to be
it's not
paid
just they needed 10 writers
benefits
on
and,
it.
a
You
hundred
needed to
thousand
pay us.
dollars minimum or
Yeah.
whatever this shit. Yeah,
So
it was outrageous.
they wanted full-time
Absolutely.
salaries, even if they're only working for a week.
Right.
You need to pay me for a year if I work for you for a week.
Yeah,
You need to pay
it's
my health
contract.
insurance. You need to pay 10 other people the same.
It's
And they're like,
contract work, man. Like
your contract work. And
regular
that's it.
people don't function that way. If you're you contract out yourself, you get paid per job. That's it. You don't get paid to hang out on your ass.
Here's a little secret, folks. If you want to do contract work, you make your name an LLC, limited liability corporation. And guess what? You have them pay that LLC. And guess what? You get to keep more of your money. You get better job opportunities because they're paying the corporation and not you directly. So the taxes are totally different, and you can save yourself a lot of time and sweat by making yourself an LLC. So there you go. There's your tip for the day, folks.
I had seen that, and I just thought it was fascinating.
Yeah.
That, that's where we're at now, where it's like now they're complaining there's no jobs, and it's like, well, yeah,
you caused this.
This is the corner that you backed yourself into when you decided to strike, and but yeah, so and I thought I had it saved, but no worries, no big deal. I did want to say this: I was watching the stream earlier also, and Baldy just learned how to zoom in and out. And it was a big fucking deal. It was a big deal. He learned how to zoom in and out.
This is deja vu because I remember there's another streamer on another streaming platform that was doing a video that learned how to do that and how fascinated he was. And he took up the whole friggin' stream with the freaking zooms.
So for those of you that have played the video game, The Last of Us, and you haven't seen the show, this is the character from the game, and this is who they cast as the actress. And in season 2, she's supposed to be 5 years older. And in the game, she looks like a 19-year-old. In this series, this girl on the right looks the same.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, now somebody had fun with... Somebody...
Yeah.
Somebody had some fun. No. Oh yeah, here's a good one too. This is from the show. This scene right here. It's like, so there's dangerous zombies lurking around, but of course, this is a moment that you can. What?
Did you see the Rachel Zegler memes that the guys were passing around?
Oh, I did. I wanted to look them up.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I was like, forgive me for typing, but then everybody's probably like, I really don't care. Everybody's along for the ride. Rachel Zegler memes as Snow White, maybe.
Yeah, no, they're freaking hilarious. How they perfectly timed her to sound like she's like
Hispanic.
Well, she's reading these lines, right?
Yeah.
No,
Oh
funny.
yeah. No, that was some good stuff. I wish maybe I had saved it because trying to find it off the cuff is going to be difficult for me.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
And I don't want to bore everybody with this.
Anything set up to talk about the G.I. Joe comics or?
No, because I didn't know. You'd mentioned about maybe being late, so I didn't know, and so I thought, okay, well. If you were maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, or even later than that, and I just didn't want to push you, or nothing. So I just said, hey, you know what? We'll work on it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'd have to go back to
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, to Jeremy. That was this morning, and they were showing him on the Geeks and Gamers
Yeah.
early thing, man. Yeah, that was
Well, 3 star, you didn't send it to me, so I don't know what you're talking about.
check IG. Yes. Here, hang on a second. Let me stop that real quick, and I will check quickly. And see if I've got. Here's the thing, man. If you guys knew how many memes a day I get from
Oh, yeah.
Wraith Mace, or not Wraith, from War Chest. War Chest. He sends me a ton of them. I get so many. It's unbelievable. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. This is it. This is it. Thank you, 3 star draw. Okay, you guys are in for a treat. Here you go.
There it is.
Kind of want something other to eat.
Well, what would you like?
You got any biscuits for sale in there?
Well, no, this here's a Frosty Cream. We don't serve biscuits. We got a lot of other stuff, though.
What you got in there is good to eat.
Well, we got Big Sheep Burgers, Bongo Burgers, Footlongs, Corny Dogs, Frosty Shakes, Creamy Bars. Did you want me to go through the whole list?
Reckon what you like to eat in there?
Well, the French fries are pretty good.
French fried potatoes?
Yep, French fries.
How much you want for 'em?
Well, they're 60 for the medium and 75 for large.
I reckon I'll have me some of the bacon. I kind of want something other to eat.
Woo! That's probably my favorite one. I just thought that was pretty well done.
Oh my God. Yes, that is absolutely fantastic. I saw 2 or 3 of them today.
Oh,
That was by far the best one. You are right, man. I Oh my God. Well, anyway, so yeah, I watched a few of those today. I think that stuff is fantastic, and the people who do that stuff, they are. I mean, they nail it, man.
Yeah.
Like the internet is undefeated, folks.
Yep.
Absolutely, 100% undefeated. Um, yeah. Let's see. What is Bobby Wolf says? There's a guy that has a cartoon. He does similar to South Park. That a skit of Bob Iger talking to Ziegler, saying the world might not be ready for a fish face looking Latino princess.
Wow.
Woo! Yeah, no, the internet is definitely undefeated. I'd say if a lot of people would probably go see that movie.
Right.
Um, yeah, I'll see if I can dig up a few others of them. But you're right, that was the best one, and of course, for anybody that hasn't seen Sling Blade, you need to see Sling Blade. That's
Yeah.
a great movie.
It is a good movie.
Billy Bob, but also Dwight Yoakam. What an asshole.
Yeah.
You hate Dwight Yoakam's character in that movie. You really do. He makes you hate him. Just brutal. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, if next week you want to go through those comics, I've gone
Sure.
through and read them all.
Well,
I
and
wouldn't
by then
mind
there'll be
kind
a
of.
couple more silent issues that have come out.
Yep, I got Beachhead and Jinx. They're okay. I
Yeah,
don't,
they're fine.
it's whatever it is. What it is, I don't think they're anything anybody needs to go out of their way to pick up. If you don't have it, unless you're a collector. But for me, they're okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd definitely like to talk about the Joe comics for those of you that are out there collecting them, and I've been enjoying them for sure. But yeah, man, no, I really didn't have a whole lot else. Just kind of figured I'd take it easy. Like I said, didn't quite know if you were
Yeah.
maybe had some family stuff to do, and all that. So it's all good. But you came in at the last second, man. It's like Willis Reed for the Knicks getting injured and coming back in off an injury and winning the game by showing up. The crowd goes wild.
Well, I believe my wife prefaced the evening by saying that he goes live on his podcast at 9, and so they left, and we're talking with them and having a good time, and didn't want him to really leave, but they left right at that time, so enough time for me to get everything set up.
Right.
Boom, there I am.
That's
And
hilarious.
right as we started, I'm like, holy crap, was he late starting? I'm
Yep.
right on time.
No, I started the countdown, with about 20 seconds to go, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and see what happens.
Yeah.
And like I said, thanks to Woody Triple Deuce for my Alabama figure, I had him ready to go, just in case, since you always open up with somebody.
3-star draw.
I'm going to show this bad boy off. Roll Tide, baby. These things are cool, man. If you are a sports fan, these figures are awesome.
Well,
They
Harbinger
are.
Studios
This is great.
makes
Yeah.
incredible figures, and they're doing the sports guys, so they're killing it.
Yeah, he is. He's really cool, and again, like, much appreciated to Woody for sending me this guy, man. That was very thoughtful. And remember that I am an Alabama fan. That's the part I was like, how in the world do you even remember that? Think about it. But yeah,
Maybe
so
he's confusing you with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers.
oh no, I don't think anybody's gonna confuse me with him. But yes, I wanna get him on the peg, and I wanna get him back here. And
You want to peg him?
in a no, I was thinking more about a docking motion.
No, that's the new Doctor Who.
No kidding. Oh God, it's so bad.
Oh, that show's dead after
Right
50
on,
years,
Woody.
man.
Yep. Yeah, for the ultra nerd, Doctor Who definitely is a staple. But
First
it
50
has
years were great.
been
And
ruined,
then
been
nothing.
driven into the ground by modern day politics, and that's really, folks, I mentioned it a lot, right? You guys, I mention a lot. Sometimes it's an eye roll, but this is in its truest form taking a institution of a show and literally through the lens of modern day politics, ruining and
Well,
getting it canceled. Like,
Well,
it's
I mean,
awful.
what's really sad is that you can see the life trauma that some of these people have gone through, that they absolutely have to destroy this now. And they did everything that they could to absolutely obliterate everything that it was. And they
Right.
think that they're doing the right thing, the just thing, whatever, to make their point. But all they're doing is destroying the thing that they were hired to create.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and Mendoza, like you say, the old Doctor Who. I remember watching like the old Doctor
Well,
Who when I was a kid because I would spend the night with this friend of mine, and his dad loved that kind of original, Doctor Who, and at the time as a kid, I thought it was so boring. Didn't really
no,
realize how inventive it was
not
back
me.
then. If you're talking about David Tennant or you're talking about Matt
Yeah.
Smith,
Yeah.
there's some quality stuff. It's like as an adult, I can go back and really truly appreciate Star Trek The Next Generation more than I did when I was younger, when the show was out. It was still good. It was very popular. But now when I go back and watch episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, there's
Yeah.
some really quality like TV from
There
from that show.
is, and I never liked it as much as the original series because I grew up watching that with my dad.
Sure.
And then I loved Next Generation, but then my dad hated Next Generation. And so I'm like, well, what's the disconnect there? But then I fell in love with Deep Space Nine and all that stuff.
Right.
But I love Doctor Who too. My wife and I we're still going through Tom Baker episodes and rewatching that. When we finish the Tom Baker era, I don't know where we're going to go after that, but that's some of the best Doctor Who that's ever been written. So, I
Yeah.
love the Chris Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, and even the first season of David Capaldi of Capaldi. The 50th anniversary kind of really marks the death of it, but there's still some really good episodes in that first season with Peter Capaldi.
That's what I've heard. I haven't seen any of that, and I've seen very sparingly even, but there is some good stuff. I was to be quite honest with you, like John Barrowman, I liked the spinoff series.
Torchwood. Torchwood was good.
I
enjoyed that.
loved Torchwood. I
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed Torchwood. I enjoyed some of their miniseries movies they did. I know some of those have not been as popular amongst their fans, but Torchwood was really good, and I really enjoyed that. Not made in the U.S., that's for sure, Woody. This is British television, but I thought it was always fantastic. Menjoza, that's cool, actually. I appreciate that. It's a good memory. And Dreadnought, good to see you back in the fold. That new strain or whatever probably whooped your ass, and I can tell. Worf, do you mean, Pop? Worf, love it. Barney Miller, yeah, that's a old fish. I remember old fish. Watching Star Trek with the dad. And Ben Joseph says love Cisco, not so much of Deep Space Nine. Yeah. I didn't really get into Deep Space.
Man, I love
Next Generation was kind of where it kind of ended for me.
3.
Yeah.
The storyline was crucial to what happened in that universe, and I loved just about everything they did with it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Somebody sent me this, and I'll tell you, I'm glad. I'd say we dodged a bullet, but we really dodged something else, Matthew.
Wow.
Man, I mean, we were
wow. Graph, there's a complete box set of the first 13 seasons of Red Dwarf on Blu-ray. I have them. So they have. And so I believe it was through season
Red
13.
Dwarf. Wow.
So I know for a fact that Back to Earth 10 or X 11, 12, 13, I have them all on Blu-ray. And I know that they did it for the first 8 seasons as well. So they're out there. I don't know where you can get them these days because they're not new. But I know I do. I have them.
Yeah, Red Dwarf, and it has some of those, those effects, right? A little bit of them cheesy kind of effects, cheesy. Right? I mean, but yeah, God, I haven't thought about
Red
that.
Red Dwarf was awesome. I love Red Dwarf.
War Chest in the house.
What's up?
Good to see you, buddy. Saw your post earlier, kicking cancer's ass. Keep it up, for sure. Absolutely. Speaking of kicking ass. Did you see this ending of Phantom Menace, Matthew? Did you see? I didn't realize this was in the extended cut, but Padme and Anakin didn't realize this dialogue was at the end of Phantom Menace. That's new to me. Did you know that?
Yep.
You did. Okay.
Yep.
That's all. Enough said. I didn't even realize it. Woo. Yeah, George was on one. I think George was smoking like Woody. I think George was smoking when he wrote that script.
Marsha Lucas saved Star Wars. Okay, I'm just telling you guys, if you don't know, Marsha Lucas is the reason that we have the Star Wars that we have, at least up until the first 3 movies, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. She is the reason we have those movies, and has spawned everything since then. But she's the one that changed the editing that Lucas was trying to do with the original Star Wars movie and made it actually make sense.
Yeah, man. You are 100% correct because without her expertise in
Yeah.
editing that movie down and cutting out some of the scenes with Luke's friends,
Yeah.
and a lot of pointless dialogue, expositional dialogue,
It it took away from the
definitely.
main story. I love that it was some of it was filmed and we have it, but
Right.
it doesn't fit in the movie.
No, I'm with you, man, and really too, the soundtrack. Without that soundtrack,
Yep.
that I don't think we'd be where we are. Well, I don't know what to say about that. Where we are today with Star Wars is not exactly where I'd like it to be, but you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, well, shoot, man. I know you maybe have a long day tomorrow after a long weekend of hanging out with fam and all that. I don't want to keep you up too terribly late. We could go on and on looking at some of these memes and stuff. I know I could, as I got a bunch of them. But at the same time, I want to respect your time and obviously everybody on here too. Obviously appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us this long, as always. Um, we're getting closer, man. We're getting closer to Fantastic Four. We're getting closer to Superman, right? We're getting closer to Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're getting closer to Thunderbolts. We'll see.
Hey,
Um,
Andor's the next thing that comes out, really. But
yeah, so I'm definitely going to talk about Daredevil. I've been writing out a
yep.
script for a video,
Awesome.
and then
Let's dig into that.
yep, and then Andor, I definitely want to get into, and I've also started to take notes on The Last of
There
Us
it is,
season
Dreadnought.
two.
I agree with that statement right there.
Um, and so yeah, I've got hopefully videos on all three of them. I've at least started to write notes and scripts down, so that'll help me at least knock it out and actually make some content instead of just live streams, which I really desperately need to do.
Yep.
I do hate it though that Dreadnought just rolled in and War Chest, but at the same time, we've been on for a couple of half hours, and I do want to respect Matthew's time, obviously, because he's a busy man. That's for sure, much busier than I ever will be. Yeah, and War Chest, we talked about that. I'm hyped for Andor as well. And Monkey Wrench. Speaking of which, and I'll ask you this question before we get out of here, Matthew. Which of the pre-orders was was kind of your top of the list?
Honestly, it was just Monkey Wrench. Yeah, I'd like to have that claw. I've got a 3D printed one that I've been using that I use for my issue 21 remake that I did, but the Hasbro one looks pretty good. The Battle Armor Cobra Commander, I've got so many problems with that. I don't know if I want it or not. That
Yeah,
the helmeted head looks way too small. It's not as angular as I would like because Battle Armor and the original version, but they smoothed it out, and I like the idea of the snake eyes behind the mask, along with the regular ones. Um, I really don't have much of a need for the version 4 snake eyes. I made my own. I like him.
okay.
And Major Blood. I have this one, and you know what? I almost painted him red in those highlights, like that new one that's coming out is.
Yeah,
I don't know that I need another one. This Major Blood's pretty awesome. So it's almost the same figure. There's enough differences where I can see why people are like, okay, I'm glad
sure,
they updated the arms. They put pinless
sure.
arms in and they put the red highlights in. Okay, great. Do
Right.
I need it? Nah, not really.
Yeah, I get that. I can fully understand. And obviously for people that just, would rather wait, you're probably going to be able to find them. The only thing I think
Yep.
that, might be tough, I know people talked about selling out is maybe Monkey Wrench or the
Yeah.
Claw,
Yeah.
Whatever,
Well,
but
3 Star
look,
said the claw finally sold out on Pulse.
okay. And you know as well as I do, and everybody, everybody's talked about it.
And
If,
and
if
Dreadnought, I'm not saying he looks bad. I'm just saying I like the one I have, so I don't necessarily need another one.
Yeah, no, I fully understand that. If there was enough of a difference, if it was like a complete, different version, I could fully understand. But yeah,
Well,
no,
the Snake Eyes actually is a completely different version.
yeah, no, Snake is. I'm talking about Major Blood.
Yeah, but Major Blood, I don't know. He's got enough new parts. I can see people wanting it, but nah, not for me.
Yeah, nah, and but I'm a sucker, so I pre-ordered. But what I was saying is that if you really want to get these guys, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
We all know that. If you want it bad enough, you're gonna find a way. That's just the way it goes.
I mean, it's like Breaker in the diver set. I mean, I can't order it from Target because Target sucks, but I bet you I'll find them in the store.
Yep. Oh, dude, I've had the worst time just going to box stores and not finding anything. I just
need that Mirage April from that was just re-released in the Target, so we'll see.
Yep. Well, shit, man. I guess until next week, we'll gather some more topics. We'll try to gather some more friends to come hang out with us. And like I said, coming up, man, pretty soon, busy movie season. Got some series out to definitely talk about. And I want to find out what you guys are watching out there too. So
we might go see King of Kings this weekend.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have no doubt that it's a quality movie. That's what they do. I mean, they just do. They do great stuff. So yeah, I have no doubt about that. But yeah, you guys let us know, man. You let us know what exactly y'all are into, and I'll see series wise. Maybe try to check something out that's maybe not on my radar. Shoot it to me in a message or whatever.
Have you seen any of Mobland?
No. I've heard decent
people
things
are talking
about it. Yeah, heard decent things about it. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish off Daredevil tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish. I don't really need to finish the first episode of Last of Us. I already know what happens. There's nothing to finish. Bullshit. And then what was the other thing I was watching? I think we were talking about it earlier. I don't know. It'll be on my phone, so whatever. I'll find it. Last of Us. I was just talking about it. Daredevil, Last of Us, and one other thing I was writing out script-wise. Oh well, whatever. I just said it. I'll go back and have to watch myself, which I hate doing. But anyway, so yeah, man. I guess next week we'll be back, same time, same bat channel. I will be on tomorrow night with 3 Star Draw on his channel for another Sevens Wild. We are doing our top 5 favorite pets of Real American Hero line. And we also have given each other 5 animals randomly that each of us has to pair up with a G.I. Joe or Cobra. So that's kind of our list tomorrow night. And so we're going to play around with that. So yeah, Sevens Wild tomorrow night. That's where I'll be at 9 Eastern. So anything for you, man, other than pushing out some
I've got some
photos?
Red Sonja pictures coming this week, so you're going to see the new boss fight Red Sonja and a bunch of different stuff that I started with Monday. Nothing like Thanos Copter, nothing like that, but
Giraffe, yes, please go support A Punk with Toys by watching the Smurfs movie. Support all little peoples. We like to support everybody here, and I support you supporting that. War Chest should have called the new Fantastic Four movie The Last Try for us. I agree. If this one doesn't work, no one's going to do one for 100 years. And Trouser Snakes are not on the list tomorrow night, but maybe next Sunday. We'll see. Grilled.
Hey,
maybe
did anybody see
blackened.
The Pink Full Moon?
I did catch it. It was a masterpiece. Chef's kiss.
I mean, you know what? It was pretty cool. I saw it a little bit on Saturday and then a little bit on Sunday. Man, we've had some gorgeous weather out here, so it's been nice to just hang out outside for a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. We've been fortunate as well. We have had some great weather, and we're getting into that season, man. I'm loving it. I'm excited. I'm ready to rock and roll. And Clint Jorgensen said, when is the Joe Fest Tips show? Well, it would probably be with me and Three Star then, because you're not going to Joe Fest. You'll go to DFW. I'll be going to Joe Fest with Three Star. So maybe we'll do a Joe Fest Tips show, even though we've only been to one, and that was last year. But I'll talk to him about it. Maybe we'll come up with a little tips list. I think it'd be the same as everybody else that has attended.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Don't need a lot of tips for that. You just fall right in line.
Go hang out, talk to people. You'll have a good time.
That's it. That is definitely it. Yes. Yeah, Bobby, I'll give you this comment too. There's already a great Fantastic Four movie. It's called The Incredibles. I agree.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you haven't seen the Roger Corman one, I highly recommend that one too. But yeah, The Incredibles is probably
just
the
to
best
say,
Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, just to say you have.
Yeah.
But that's all I got, buddy. I guess next week we'll be back, like I said. So you guys have a good night, man. Really appreciate y'all hanging out. And we'll see you tomorrow night. I'll see you next week. Until then, man, y'all have a good rest of your week. Thanks for hanging with me.